can't find a good offensive coordinator. He's hiring at Alabama. He's going to find a good offensive coordinator, but you're missing a guy you've trusted, a guy that you were in lockstep with that, when you're thinking one thing, he was thinking the same thing. And that's a lot to replace. And he's obviously a valued guy, or else Seattle wouldn't be hiring him as their offensive coordinator, or else DeBoer wouldn't have wanted to keep him in Tuscaloosa.
Right. And Alabama tried to hire him in 2023.
That's right. Nick Saban tried to hire him.
Real quickly, give me a 30-second answer because I want to get this Travis Kelce bite. It doesn't pan out, doesn't do well in Seattle for 1 year. He gets fired after 1 year with the Seahawks. Does he get offered the Alabama OC job for a third time?
I mean, that would be wild, wouldn't it? But you got to trust DeBoer. If DeBoer wants him, yes.
Yeah, I mean, and it depends on what the offense looks like this year. If you're an Alabama fan, you hope that doesn't happen.
Now, if you got a stud offensive coordinator and he's staying, sorry, Ryan, there's not a spot for you right now.
You jump ship. Yeah. All right, Travis Kelce on the journey to Kansas City winning the championship. It wasn't a smooth year for KC. Here's Travis Kelce.
Man, with the target on our back, man, knowing that we were going to get everybody's best shot to have the doubters, to have the road that we went through, man, it meant everything to even get to this point. But to find a way through adversity yet again for 4 quarters, 5 quarters, man, I couldn't be more proud of the guys, and it's such an honor to be on this team and in this organization, man.
It just seems like if it had not been 0 degrees wind chill factor in the wild card weekend, that team wouldn't have been in the game, that Miami would have handled them. If Miami would have just
Miami was limping.
I'm glad it seems like that to you.
Yeah,
I mean, if the game were played in Miami, is that your point?
That's my point. It just,
I mean, if it had it been in Miami, maybe Miami wins that game.
Just take the weather out of it, and they're the Super Bowl champions. It's hard to believe the Chiefs did it again.
I tell you what, on that final regulation possession, when he caught that ball and turned the corner,
I thought he's gone.
I thought he was going to score and win the MVP at that point.
Yeah.
But, the only problem with that is that was under the 2-minute, which I think all the media voting, I don't know when they shut down the fan voting.
I don't either.
But the media voting, I think they asked you to have it done by the 2-minute, and that was under the 2-minute, and that would have been his only touchdown.
I still think they would have given it to Mahomes.
To Mahomes. That would have put him over 100 receiving yards and the game-winning touchdown.
Powerful run after catch. Broke that guy's shoulder. He hit him so hard. Is there a list of the voting?
I haven't seen it.
Me either, because I want to see just how close Kelce was with the 20% fan vote from the Swifties out there. If it was Mahomes 1 and Kelce 2, because I was trying to figure out why Kelce was on the stand. He was up there with Mahomes, and obviously
he does. Yeah, I mean, Kelce does not like attention.
Yeah. You do not like him, do you?
I don't think I'm alone. I think you're one of the few that likes him.
I mean, I don't dislike him, but he's an automatic Hall of Famer, first ballot.
We were talking. Who was it that was saying? I think Gronk's the best, and I was like, I think Kelsey's probably that guy. Now, guys like Antonio Gates, Tony Gonzalez, they never got an opportunity to play, on that stage. I guess Tony Gonzalez did.
Really rated sign-off from Tony Romo.
When he told Jim Nantz he loved him?
I love you, man.
Tony Romo, he has jumped the shark for
a guy
years.
That started so good.
Yeah. And Jim Nantz, going into probably his scripted goodbye.
Yeah.
Jim Nantz is probably going, I love you too. And the Chiefs are...
No, the final call to Miko, Tony Romo stepped on top of that, butchered the entire thing. It was awkward.
Yeah.
Like, I was looking for a flag because there was no rhythm at all to that final call.
I mean, a walk-off touchdown in the Super Bowl. That's Jim Nantz. I mean, it's going to not get any bigger than that for him.
Lived for that moment.
Yeah.
And it was an awkward ending.
Yeah.
Well, they said that Kevin Harlan drilled his on Westwood One.
I'm not surprised. He's one of the best.
I have not heard that yet. All right, guys, that's it today. The Monday after the Super Bowl, what should be a national holiday, according to LT.
Well, why would it? So next week we've got President's Day. Just try to sync up the weeks.
Well, all they got to do is have one more regular season game.
Yeah, I mean, they'll do something, man.
It's coming.
I mean, East Coast was up late last night.
East Coast, West Coast, and everybody in between. I even caught a little bit of that tracker. And then when he got shot in the shoulder, I was like, I'm out of tracker.
You're the guy?
Yeah. I was like, I'm out. Oh, it'll do monster ratings because a lot of people didn't turn their TV off. We're back with you tomorrow, 9 a.m. Central Time. Until next time, God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
Follow John Lunsford on Twitter @JLuntz. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, live show now. We'll get to a lot of basketball coming up, including Stephen Pearl, Auburn's assistant head coach, in the very next segment. Juicy game tomorrow down at Neville Arena. Taylor and I will be down there for the coverage on our social media platform at Next Round Live. Whatever platform you're on, we're there at Next Round Live. Make sure you're following us, subscribed, thumbs up, likes, hearts, all that stuff there. Jim Dunaway, the man in red, in his Tuesday red, is Lance Taylor. That is Ryan Brown.
I got that joke.
That's Rockstar and Tyler and Lunsford and Forrester. Taylor Corn is handling everything social media. Melton's getting ready for greatness today after a great night on the poker table. Emily Grace McWhorter here. Our list gets longer and longer every day.
That's good.
To call everybody out here. As we get rolling, Brett checks in, says it's 47 in the Foley area. So he's in lower Alabama. There's rain and snow up in the northeast, weather everywhere, cold here. And it is Fat Tuesday down in New Orleans. Anybody know anybody in New Orleans and in Mobile for Fat Tuesday
I know
today?
somebody in Mobile for Fat Tuesday
Yep.
because she was texting me this morning. My daughter is a freshman at the University of South Alabama, and she has fully embraced Mardi Gras.
She has?
We had never gone to Mardi Gras until the previous one last year. So in 2023, we went down for a campus visit, and we timed it out with Mardi Gras and went to a Saturday parade, and I had a blast. It was so much fun. And I've always been told the Mobile one, A, is the original, and B, is a little more family-friendly than what you would find in New Orleans. But my daughter is out of school today because they don't have classes on Fat Tuesday. So she texted the family chat at good morning at 7:30, and my response was, "Why are you awake? You don't have class today." And she says, "I'm getting ready for the Fat Tuesday parade at 10.
Yeah,
So she's fully embraced it.
I'm a little surprised that they just don't give them spring break that entire week.
Well, that's the weird thing. Spring break's coming up first week of March. I'm going to be off. We're going on a family trip, but it comes up early March, so they get it back to back. But I think, Lance, the public schools are out all week down
All week
there.
long, yeah.
They're only getting Fat Tuesday and maybe tomorrow on the university side.
Yeah, my nieces are down there, and it's so tricky for a business to try to operate in the middle of Fat Tuesday, and a lot of these restaurants just shut it down.
Yeah,
They
Keith says
just close?
I mean, some do. That I forgot. I was talking to somebody the other night that's got a place down in Mobile.
Wow.
Yeah.
Keith says he just got back from Mobile last night. Parties all over the weekend. It all comes to an end tonight, Fat Tuesday. So all those that celebrate. This is Lake Life, one of our followers on social media, with his next round gear under all of his Mardi Gras gear. He's part of a crew, and he was out there, and he's part of our crew too.
That's right.
So we appreciate that so much. Fat Tuesday at Floribama, Bob says. Hey, happy Fat Tuesday at the Floribama.
I bet that's a scene.
Maybe we put that on the future to-do list.
I mean, so here's the thing. I've been to New Orleans over 100 times, literally. And I've never been I went to Mardi Gras when I was like 5 or 6 maybe.
Yeah.
But I've never had the desire to go as an adult because I think there's enough debauchery in New Orleans where you don't have to go. It's like almost too much this week. And that would be the same. Like Floribama, you can go at any time of year and have a great time. Why would you pick Fat Tuesday?
Yeah, that's
to
true.
go?
That's a good point. I just know the parade we went to, it was the Saturday night before Fat Tuesday. So it was this past Saturday a year ago.
In Mobile.
Everybody was like, that's the best one to go to other than Fat Tuesday. I don't know the name of the parade, but everybody would call it by that name.
Saturday night?
Yeah, the Saturday night. And they would call it by the name of the parade.
I've been to that one too.
Have you?
Yeah.
And it was just everybody was just having fun. It was a festive atmosphere. There were people that were drunk, obviously, but there were families out there. I mean, literally at one point they were throwing boxes of Little Debbies off, not just the individual Little Debbies, the whole box into the crowd.
Wow.
Eat this shit.
No, I mean, it was like
Most overrated product in dessert history.
We must have been at the end of the line, and they're like, guys, we have got a whole crate of Little Debbies. We got to
They
get rid
throw
of.
any moon pies?
Yeah,
We got moon
gosh,
pies
yes.
back
Moon
in the
pies,
90s. Yeah.
beads, candy, everything. I mean, my kids, especially my little one, she was on the front row there and had, I don't know how to describe it, those fabric bags like you get at the grocery store. You know what I'm saying? She had one of those full of stuff. I mean, it was just full.
Yeah, the moon pie, did it come from Mobile? Now, I know we've got a guy that I actually met somewhere. Oh, down at the beach. Remember he came by?
Yeah, that's right.
And he pimps moon pies.
He works for him, right?
So it's regionally, I don't know if it's out of Georgia or Alabama, but remember when they do the ball drop in Mobile,
It's
it
a
is
moon
on the
pie.
moon pie.
It's a moon pie that drops down. I don't know if it's a Mobile thing, but it's very tied to the region and to their Mardi Gras celebration. All the way back in the 90s, my singles day, I went on a couples trip down there for the Mobile Mardi Gras. I've never been to the New Orleans. When I've been for New Orleans for Jazz Fest one time, and it was insanely crowded. And they said, dude, if you think this is crowded, you need to come back for Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
Wait,
And
you
I
just
said,
threw an oxymoron at us.
What?
When you were single, you went on a couples trip. That is an
Yeah.
oxymoron, right?
That is. Well, you were single but dating.
dating. I was
Okay.
dating. Yeah. When I was telling Taylor that story the other day.
Do you remember who you took?
Couples and I had
I
fingers
do.
crossed.
I do. I do remember.
Maybe
that
this will
story.
work out.
She has since passed.
Oh, wow.
That doesn't make it awkward at
Yeah,
all.
sorry,
wonderful,
Jim.
wonderful young lady. I was
Yes.
telling Taylor that story the other day for some reason earlier this week. So here's your dumb Dunaway stat of the day. Okay, off of one of his newsletters. Do you know what they found in the drainage system in New Orleans later this week a year ago?
Meghan Markle's hair.
Mincy.
92,000 pounds of beads that when they threw them out
Yeah.
in a 5-block region.
Oh, I believe it.
92,000 pounds of beads that slid into the drainage system. So not the ones that cleaned up on the street that nobody grabbed or the ones that people grabbed. 92,000 pounds that slid into the drainage system that they had to go back and dig out in a 5-block area just to make sure that all worked when it needed to work.
Yeah, not surprising. We were on the float, the Bud Light float on Saturday night in Avondale, and the majority of our bead throws came up a little short.
Yeah.
They'd hit the street and they would kind of slide there.
Well, if
and-
they had kids, I was intentional throwing them short so I didn't
Well,
hit
you
the
don't
kid
hit
in
the
the head.
kid. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was also an awkward, like on our beads, you have the Bud Light logo at the end of the bead, so you've got to figure out exactly how to throw it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's got some weight on it. It's what you're saying.
I don't know what that event was in the Olympics, but that's how I was doing mine.
That's the hammer throw.
I was throwing it like that with those
Yeah,
Bud
it's a
Light
good
ones.
way to take somebody's eye out.
Yeah.
It was. That's
Yeah.
why I was throwing that just at the adults and throwing them low for the kids.
I
The
remember.
crowd still amazes me.
Yeah, I
by
know.
the
It's
way,
nuts
the
how many
other
people
night.
are out done away Fidelia. After I wore the beads for a little bit down there, I did start thinking, I don't really know where these beads have been, and I've just got them around my neck and all that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So when we went to dinner,
Funny, I thought that about the moon pies and the candy.
Yes.
All right, let's get into some of the headlines this morning being brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. What's going on in the sports world? Hey, still cold. What today? 54, 56, the high here. Wherever you are, our friends at Hemp Hill Services will take care of your heating, your cooling, and your plumbing.
Yeah, 205-229-2090. That is the number you need to call. Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Make sure your HVAC unit keeping up with this changing weather. It's like in the 30s right now. 205-229-2090. Trust the name. Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Hemp Hill Services. Hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
Dude, you know it's obvious if Jim see it, if I can see it coming.
Right.
And I said on the show yesterday, Texas Tech, which eventually after the AP poll came out was unranked, and they were giving up 2.5 points to at the time, number 4, now number 7 by the time the game tipped, Kansas. And I was like, LT, that is the old, that's even I see that one coming. And the game wasn't even close. 79-50, Texas Tech beat Kansas last night. I get into this first. Initially, Brown and I were just talking about this. That's the 33rd AP top 10 team to lose on the road this year. But for Kansas, who's a pretty good basketball team, in Big 12 play, they are now 1-5 in road games in conference this year. I'll say that again for you. They are currently number 7 in the AP poll. They are number 14 in the KenPom, and they are 1-5 in conference road games. That's 1 win and 5 losses. That's not covering. That is just straight up taking the L on the chin. And last night was a 29-point beatdown.
Well, a couple of things here. Kevin McCullough didn't play in his second game. That's the Big 12 leading scorer, so that's obviously going to hurt, but they never led in this game. They trailed wire to wire. The 29-point loss, the biggest in the poll era for the Jayhawks. You got to go back to 1950 when they also lost to Kentucky by 29. Bill Self, his 722nd game as the Jayhawks head coach, his first ejection. He is the third Big 12 coach to be ejected this month. Big 12 guys that had never been ejected before. Scott Drew, and I forgot who the other coach was that was ejected earlier.
I cannot believe that's his first ejection as the Kansas coach.
Yeah. Last time he was ejected, he was Tulsa's head coach, and it was back in the 90s. It was forever ago.
Dunaway and I were talking before the show. I watched, it was pretty obvious in the second half this game was over. I went on to bed, so I did not see him get ejected until he got ejected until this morning. And Dunaway and I were talking, and we were like, that's the way I'd handle it. If my team was down 20 and I know we're going to get beat on the road, I'm just going to get run.
Like 6 minutes to go down at Neville Arena the other night. If I was Nate Oates, I'd have been like handing my program over to Shooter or whoever my assistant coach is.
Take us home,
Shooter. This is an example, though. When Kevin McCullough comes back and when they get on neutral sites and rolling forward march, they're going to be one of your favorites because Hunter Dickinson is that good. He was 2 of 12 from the field last night. But this is almost what we saw with the Kansas City Chiefs on Christmas in Arrowhead.
Rephrase that. Kansas City
Yes.
Chiefs.
Yeah. What did I say?
Well,
You said Kansas.
Sounded like something different.
Subpar Chiefs.
Okay. You said it like SHITT.
Kansas City Chiefs on Christmas in Arrowhead against the Oakland Raiders. Back to that moment, you're like, this team couldn't win a championship. They ultimately win the Super Bowl. I think Kansas will be fine. It's just the life in the Big 12. As good as the SEC is, the Big 12 is better. And winning on the road is really difficult. Losing by 29, there's no excuse for that. They didn't show up last night. That was a dick whipping.
I would have accepted San Francisco 49ers, but not Kansas City. They're the champions.
They are.
Yeah, the other ones played bad in overtime there. So that was what happened last night with Kansas. Yes.
Well, I was just going to say, I've just this year, I've had to, and maybe I'm late to the game on this. I'm late to the game on a lot of things. I've just had to accept any road win. I don't care who the opponent is, where they're ranked to the net or Ken Palm. If you win it by 1, you've accomplished something.
That's what I'm getting to, Brown. We got a lot of people that get upset when Auburn goes on the road and loses at Alabama, at Mississippi State, at Florida. When Alabama goes on the road, loses at Tennessee, loses at Auburn. Those are a lot better losses that I just named than some of the ones that Kansas has taken, or maybe they're equal. But here's great Kansas, who's 1-5 in the league. So those Auburn and Alabama losses that we've been wringing our hands about, or maybe they don't stack up, not that bad at all.
Well, no, I'm just looking at it. Major conferences, if you consider the Big East a major conference, Creighton has the best road record of any good team in that conference at 5-4. 5-4. Now, you can find like Purdue. Purdue is 5-2 on the road this year, but Purdue's only got 2 losses. Both those losses came on the road. They've won all their home games and all their neutral site games. South Carolina, oddly, is 5-2 on the road. I don't know how South Carolina has managed to do this.
That'd be 5-3 after tomorrow night.
Were they at Rupp? No, they're at Auburn. That's right. They're at Auburn. South Carolina, 5-2 on the road. Pittsburgh, 5-2 on the road in the ACC. North Carolina, 5-1 on the road in the ACC. So there's some teams that figure it out. I don't know how those teams are doing it, but they figure it out.
Yeah, it's everywhere. You've only got 2 teams in the Big 12 that have winning records on the road. And that's Houston and TCU. It's difficult.
It is very difficult.
Like there is not an easy win. Yeah. Like every team in the Big 12 has winning records at home. Yeah. Like there's not an easy win there.
Nobody is going to argue that your best teams in the SEC are not Alabama, Auburn, Tennessee, and South Carolina. And I think a lot of people honestly would leave South Carolina that and say they think it's Alabama, Auburn, or Tennessee. Right. I think South Carolina's earned a place in the discussion, though. Tennessee is 4-2, Alabama's 3-3, Auburn is 3-3, and I told you South Carolina's 5-2. So even the best teams in the SEC are barely 500.
We'll talk to Stephen Pearl about that big game coming up tomorrow night, which is now number 11 South Carolina in the AP poll, battling number 13 Auburn in the AP poll. The AP poll came out yesterday. Brown's going to tell you the significance of one in the Ken Palm and the net ratings a little bit later on in the show when we jump in and talk a little bit about Alabama basketball. But just for the AP poll, UConn, Purdue, Houston, Marquette, Arizona, top 5. Tennessee is 8. South Carolina is 11. Auburn is 13. Alabama's 15. Kentucky holds on at 22. Number 23 is Indiana State. More on their metrics later, but historically, just in the AP poll, Brownie, it's their first time in the AP poll since who was, I don't know. When you think Indiana State basketball, who do you think of?
There's only one guy I could guarantee you I know played at Indiana State. Can you guarantee you can name me another Sycamore?
Can I guarantee it? I can name a current one right now that looks as good looking as Larry Bird was. This kid has got an interesting look as well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Larry Bird's the only one I can 100% name.
And this is their first time in the AP poll since 1979. Alabama's got a win over Indiana State. We'll talk about that later when we talk about Alabama football. But
Robbie Avila. See if you can find him, Rocky.
Robbie Avila?
Yeah.
Yep.
He's an interesting looking cat.
All right, pull him up here, Rocky. Let's take a look at him real quick. Stephen Pearl in the next segment. Got to get to the Super Bowl ratings here after we take a look at the guy in the goggles for Indiana State. We saw him when he came to town and played over in Tuscaloosa. And just a basketball team that Nate Oates and them knew was going to be pretty good. I don't know if they knew they were going to be this good down the stretch. And this Indiana State team has a really interesting story about them. Any of those pictures will work right there. I mean, that guy right there, you would expect him right now to be shooting free throws for Barstool, trying to get them out of the lock-in.
I mean, it isn't. I don't even know how to describe his look. I mean, it's Chris Sabo meets, who was the guy? Chunk from the Goonies?
Oh, yeah. He's got a little chunk in him.
Yep.
I did not think about that. Oh, God. They have had two of the more unique-looking basketball players of all time to be two of their best players. I mean, is he considered the second best Sycamore behind Larry Bird?
I don't know about that. I mean, he's just the interesting. I mean, he's a good player. He's their big. But I don't know. I mean, nobody's in the same category as Larry Bird.
Well, you don't see Rex Specs much anymore.
I know, you really don't. He's got the goggles on, and Indiana State is back in the rankings.
He's repping for Jesus, too. He's got that big cross on the right bicep.
How do I?
Television ratings, easiest win for LT ever. Not only did they become the most watched Super Bowl ever, they became the most watched television show since we landed on the moon, which was on every network. Every one of them.
Yeah, and you knew better. This was an emotional bet. This was you battling for the hate that Taylor Swift was getting.
No, I think it was just I was in at one point I was 14 up, and I gave them away way too fast. Most watched telecast in the history, and I don't even know if you count 1969. So this past, I texted you guys, got no answer last night. So this past MASH's finale, which I think was the gold standard,
Yeah,
right?
I've seen varying reports on MASH's finale. I've seen that it got 125.
Okay.
Which would still have this in front. But then I also saw that I think CBS labeled this the most watched thing in television history, if I'm not mistaken. So,
yeah. I mean, it's right here, top headline, Super Bowl 58 most watched TV program ever.
Yeah, so I guess the people that actually have access to the ratings know what MASH is, so I'm assuming CBS is right about that.
I thought MASH was 118 million. I don't know why that stuck out in my mind.
What network was MASH on? Do you remember? Was it CBS?
I want to say it was CBS.
So I would not think CBS. I would think they would know, right?
121.6 million for MASH. Now, does this 123.4 million number, does that count streaming services?
Yep,
This is
that's
all viewed.
all platforms.
Yeah, so it's changed a little bit over the years, but that's all eyeballs. That works good. They are now counting people in bars, which helps as well. But, you know, it is what it is. I mean, people watching, that's who watched it. So
this is crazy. I mean, how many people do we have? 330 million? Is that
something
rough?
like that, yeah.
I mean, it's
a third of them.
Nielsen said a record 202.4 million watched at least part of the game.
I mean,
60% of the population in the U.S.
I mean, it's insane, but I mean, it's what the Super Bowl has become. The NFL they've got magic with this thing. Everybody watches, and I would say the vast majority they didn't care who won the game.
No, but
the vast majority of people watching.
I do think this 7% increase, some of that was Taylor Swift.
No doubt.
Games that she attended saw a 9 to 15% bump year to year. But I think when you get to the Super Bowl, I don't know how much it matters. The final total of how many seconds that she was on television from the kick to the end, and I just gave it away by saying seconds. It did not even get to a minute again. From the start of the game to the end of the game, she was only on for 54 seconds.
Well, they did not show her a lot early because I was thinking about your bet.
Yeah. It was 2 at halftime.
Yeah, I mean, I think the whole first quarter almost you didn't see her. Now, I will tell you this. I had the Nickelodeon on one of my TVs. They were showing her a lot more on there.
It makes sense.
Well, and I'll tell you why they weren't showing her in the first half. I think it was probably dictated, but at the same time, Kansas City was doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So when Kansas City started to play well is when they started to show her more and more.
54 seconds that she was on the screen. Back in 2018, 61 of the top 100 programs in 2018 were NFL games. That ballooned up in 2023 to 93 of the top 100, maybe helped by the writer's strike. And already the most watched here in 2024 is the Super Bowl, and it won't be beat.
Oh, no, ever.
This year.
Unless it's another Super Bowl.
Yeah, so there you go. That's the television ratings, and it was big. It was big for everybody that was involved, and congratulations to all those involved. Basketball with Stephen Pearl coming up on the other side. We'll talk about Auburn playing host to South Carolina as the Tigers try to stay in the hunt in the SEC regular season race. The show being brought to you by A+, the folks that jumped into Brown's bathroom and changed it up, and also has Brown snooping around other people's closets.
Yeah, well, you're about to see a closet that Brad did, because here's the thing. Brad Bell, my man with A+ Towel Home Remodeling, is a master at a couple things in the remodel. Now, he'll do anything very, very well, but I'll tell you what he specializes in is master bath, which he did in my house, kitchen, and then you're seeing, if you're watching, Scotty's showing you the master bedroom closet remodel that he just recently finished. And the reason that is important to you is these are his specialties. It's where you're going to make your money back when you go to sell your house. You're going to make your money back if you invest in the master bath, the kitchen, and the master bedroom closet, but you're also going to greatly enjoy it while you're in that house. So why not update the house on things you're going to enjoy, but also are going to help your resale value? Contact Brad Bell. He did my master bath. Scott is showing you that now. I cannot tell you how happy we are with the work he did. I was just thinking about today when I was in there taking a shower, how nice this bathroom is compared to where we found it. And it's exactly what we wanted. And he listened to us, and he made sure that it was exactly what we wanted, the way we wanted it. Here is the number, 205-422-1758 for Brad Bell. A+ Tile Home Remodeling, 205-422-1758. Brad Bell, A+ Tile Home Remodeling.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
You want to look great while supporting your favorite show? You know the place to go is the official Next Round store at nextround.store. Yes, there are .store domains, and we have one. From shirts to hoodies to hats and all kinds of fun stuff, you can rep the Next Round anywhere you go. At the beach, Next Round hats to block out that sun. Up north in the winter, get you a comfy Next Round hoodie. Just need something to put your $20 beer in at a game? Get you a Next Round koozie and throw that thing in your pocket. You never know what stuff Jim's going to make me put in there next. Check it out. It's the Next Round store at nextround.store.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
Bandwagon wants to remind you that baseball and softball season is right around the corner, and their shelves are stocked with everything your kid needs. From grip tape to gloves to custom uniforms, Bandwagon has all the gear, big and small, for those ballpark days. Until February 3rd, you spend $100 on baseball or softball equipment, and Bandwagon will give you $20 off. Just tell them the Next Round sent you. Visit locations in Cahaba Heights, Homewood, and Trustful, or go online to bandwagonsports.com. Next Round listeners, it's time to jump on the bandwagon.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
All right, rolling on basketball. By the way, in the AAC, the American Conference, UAB's Yaxel Lindenberg averaged 17 points, 16 rebounds last week. He's the AAC Player of the Week. North Texas Sunday at Bartow to take on Andy's team down there. But Little T and I will be down at Neville Arena tomorrow night for a top 13 matchup in the AP poll.
Do you just want to go ahead and tell Stephen where you're sitting so we don't have to play the game where you try to get his attention?
Right now, I'm roaming.
Okay. He doesn't have a ticket, Stephen. That's his cue.
But I will see if any of my friends have an open seat. It's hard to get an open seat at Neville
I
Arena
know,
these days.
Tough spot. Stephen Pearl, Associate Head Coach, Auburn Tigers, with us now. What's up, Coach? How are you?
What's up, fellas? I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Doing well. I guess the positive is you got the Florida trip behind you now. That's been a tough one. Can you explain why that has been so tough for that long?
I mean, Coach's reasoning is that when we were at Tennessee, he beat back-to-back national champions Florida 3 out of 4 times, and we've kind of been cursed ever since. So, no, it's just it's a tough place to play, and we just haven't played well when we've gone down there. So, no rhyme or reason. It's just it's a tough place, and they've always had pretty good teams when we've gone down there, and we kind of just ran into a buzzsaw, honestly, and that's just kind of one of those things that'll happen. You look at Kansas last night. You looked at Alabama coming into our place last week on Wednesday. You look at Tennessee going to Texas A&M. You look at the top 10 or 15 teams on KenPom. They've all lost by 15 to 22 points at some point this season. So it's going to happen. And Florida's one of the top 4 or 5 teams in my opinion in this league. They're probably the second or third most talented team in our league. And they had a week to prepare for us, and they were ready, and they had more energy, more pop than we did. And they played great, and it was all we could do to kind of cut it to 16 points. But it was going to be a tough game, coming off a really intense rivalry game on Wednesday, and then having to travel to Florida. So we knew we had our hands full, but I just didn't think we were going to get punched in the mouth like we did. Hats off to them; they played great.
Hey, can you clarify this for us because we're complete idiots? Is there a significance in the net to cutting it below 20?
Yeah, I mean, when we were down 26, I basically got in the huddle and told the guys, like, listen, we're not going to win this game, but we got to do everything we possibly can to get this thing under 20 because, if it's under 20, your number's not going to move that much in a quad 1 game.
Yeah.
But if it's between 20 and 30, there's a chance. You look at Kansas last night, lost by 29. They dropped like 7 spots in the net this morning. We didn't move it all in the net, and we lost by 16. So, there is a little bit of strategy when it comes to, when you're losing a game, you got to lose the right way, and you can't really give up, and you can't let it get out of hand, like some teams have. So we definitely talked about it, and we were very honest with the guys, and they did, to their credit, even though it was worse than a 16-point loss in my opinion. Our guys did a great job in the last 4 minutes of cutting it from like 24 to 16, which didn't hurt our math at all.
Do you do that math, or do you have somebody else that does that? Is that a Stephen Pearl math problem?
I mean, there's no way for me to like in game know what the math's going to be, but I just know that, obviously under 10 is what you want to try and keep it out on the road, which is what we've done, App State, Baylor, Alabama, Mississippi State. Those losses didn't hurt us at all. But, on the road, quad 1, if you keep it under 20, your math's going to stay pretty consistent and pretty positive. So that was just kind of, the number we had in mind that we had to get it below. And to our guys' credit, they did a good job. There's no moral victories there, but it's not going to hurt us in the long run in the NCAA tournament. Now, obviously, SEC championship standings, obviously it hurts, but at the end of the day, it's not going to hurt our math.
You guys have been so good at shooting free throws this year, 42nd nationally, a little over 75%. And Janai, I know he struggled a little bit, but 1 of 8. Is that just one of those off games for Janai?
I mean, if you call a little bit 1 for 8, I mean, we have a different. I think Janai was playing at such a high level and playing so well. It was one of those things that kind of got into his head, and he just wasn't able to make free throws. He'd been shooting. I want to say, what was he? He was probably like 75% going into that game, 70%, and obviously that dropped his number down. He was 9 for 11 against Alabama in a big game, and then he's 1 for 8 at Florida. So, there's a lot of factors that go into it. I think Jalen and Janai were both pretty popped in the Florida game because we just kind of rode those guys against Alabama, and we just jammed it inside and kind of punked them inside against Alabama. And I think they were both pretty tired going into that Florida game and didn't have their legs, so that may have been part of it. Tough road environment, and he just didn't play well, and I think that kind of carried over into his free throw shooting. But then as a team, we missed 4 front ends of a 1-and-1. We missed a couple and-one opportunities. If we make our free throws like we normally do, that game doesn't get away from us as quickly as it did. But, it's just one of those deals. We went 14 for 26 and didn't capitalize on our opportunities. We didn't shoot the ball well from 3, which has kind of been the recipe for beating us on the road so far this year. So, just not a great shooting night from us at all in any standard.
Yeah, one of our 5 big screens here in the studio, they just ran the promo for game day on ESPN coming up on Saturday. I don't know how many game days they do, but it feels like somewhere between 6 and 8 a year, not every week like it is during football. How important is that to have them back on campus again when it comes to recruiting and program recognition from where you sit?
Well, I mean, if you look at College Game Day, they've come to Auburn 3 straight years, and then they've come 4 out of 5 years. The 1 year they didn't come was COVID. I don't think they were doing any on-campus games during game day during COVID. So 4 out of 5 years, basically 4 years in a row when they've been doing shows on campus. No one else can say that but, maybe Duke and Kansas. So Auburn, Duke, and Kansas get College Game Day more than any program in all of college basketball. And that just speaks to the success that we've had here. It speaks to the jungle. It speaks to Neville Arena and the environment that we've created as our home court advantage. So, obviously it's huge in recruiting because it's something that all kids want to do and want to play on. We'll play to it, when we have recruits come in town this weekend. So it's an amazing feat and accomplishment for Auburn to be able to get College Game Day to be a place that they try and come to pretty regularly. So it's a lot of credit to, the players that we've had and, our administration, our coaching staff to be able to create an environment that game day would want to come to year in and year out.
Auburn Associate Head Coach Stephen Pearl with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. He's kind enough to join us at this time every Tuesday. But if you were playing a crappy opponent, they probably don't show up. I mean, South Carolina, this is a good team out of nowhere. What has happened year to year with Lamont Paris' team to make them what they are?
The age of the transfer portal is an amazing thing for programs like South Carolina, I wouldn't say Georgia because they're not doing as great, but Florida. You look at just some of those teams that have been able to rebuild quickly, and Coach Paris has done an unbelievable job of getting the right pieces, getting guys like B.J. Mack, Talon Cooper, the point guard from Minnesota, to come in to mix them with Michi Johnson. And he's got an unbelievable freshman on his roster that's going to be one of the best freshmen, in all of college basketball this year. And Colin Murray Boyles, and they just brought in really good pieces that fit what they already had. And they're sitting at 21-3, 9-2, tied atop of the SEC. So the transfer portal has been an unbelievable way for schools, Ole Miss, another good example, for teams to be able to come in and compete and be relevant right away. And he's done a great job of that. And that's something that we've kind of obviously hung our hat on over the last couple of years, bringing in guys like Janai Broome, Denver Jones, Walker Kessler, Wendell Green, guys like that have been able to come in and help us get instant success. So it just speaks to, their evaluation and talent in the offseason and finding guys that would come in and fit well in their system. And then obviously being picked last in the SEC, they had a chip on their shoulder all year, and they've continued to ride that and obviously use that as motivation to stay hungry to kind of put them where they are right now. So, hats off to them. They've done an unbelievable job, and it's obviously a huge opportunity for us. They're ranked 11th in the country. They're 9-2 in the SEC, one spot ahead of us. So we got an opportunity to beat another first-place team in our league.
11 wins last year for Lamont Paris, and he could be your national coach of the year. But you mentioned the media picked them last. You guys recruit the same portal guys a lot of times. Did you realize, you and BP, that this South Carolina team was going to be a lot better than expected?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if Janai or Dylan had left, we would have gone really hard after BJ Mack. He's a really good, talented stretch 5-man, something that 4 or 5-man, something that we would normally put in our system. And then, Talon Cooper, he played with Janai Broom at Morehead State. So we had seen him when we were recruiting Janai, and obviously we played him a couple of years ago. So we knew how good he was. And then the guys that they returned were obviously great pieces that were going to help them, obviously be successful. Miles Studi, a transfer from Vanderbilt, who can really light it up. They had, a couple of really good guards returning from last year's team. And, we just kind of knew that they were going to be a lot better than what the preseason, media picked them. But, the preseason media guys, they don't know anyway. So they kind of just, take a guess and see what happens. But, they've done a great job and have obviously put themselves in position to have a great year.
You'll be proud. Your boy picked Vanderbilt to finish 14th. I had South Carolina at 13, just to be fair.
That way, Jimmy.
Yeah, so I only missed by 12 spots.
Yeah, right now 12.
Yeah, it's only 12 spots.
Congratulations.
Listen, I expected you to beat Alabama, but the defense you played on the perimeter against Alabama down at Neville Arena was so impressive. I'm looking at the stats, and it says only Houston plays better defense than Auburn does in the country right now. Talk about the defensive effort and how much of a calling card that is for this team. Is that how you have success the rest of the way, that kind of defense?
Yeah, I mean, defense and rebounding are gonna help you win championships and win games. And we knew that Alabama, being the number one offensive efficiency team in the country, we were gonna have our hands full. And early, we didn't do a great job guarding them, but that's when they were fresh and they made a lot of shots. And they had 6 threes in the first half, which is a recipe for disaster against those guys. Because if they're making over 10 threes a game, they're probably gonna win the game. So. We knew early that we were going to have our hands full defensively, and I think our guards did a better job as the game went on. Guarding strong hands and running those guys off the 3-point line, and they only made 3 the rest of the game. But offensively, we really did a lot of good things offensively in that game, scoring 99 points. Probably could have been more. We only hit 5 threes and still scored 99 points. But we did a really good job in this game. I'm sure Lance will be very proud, but we stopped. We didn't shoot as many threes this game, buddy. We jammed it inside, and we got to the foul line 50 times, and they got to the foul line 35 times. And when you look back at the film, both teams were fouling every single possession, and it's all the refs could do to not call a foul every single second. And that's kind of how the game had to be officiated. So we did a good job of recognizing that we had a huge advantage on the inside. And, we took advantage of Jalen and Janai and Chad Baker, obviously getting to the rim, and they just couldn't guard us on the inside. But defensively on the road, it's obviously we got to step up a little bit more in that area. But, we've done a really good job defensively so far this year. Our 2-point field goal percentage is number one in the country. Our 3-point field goal percentage is somewhere in the 20s or 30s. So it's a really important reason as to why we've had so much success, and our guys have got to continue to buy in on it if we want to continue to win games.
Okay, I'm glad you only shot 17 in Gainesville, but I don't want to even go that direction. So I've got a kind of a loaded question to end for me. Where did you watch the Super Bowl? Who did you pull for? And what does Brittany have planned for Nelly for Valentine's Day?
All right. So Super Bowl, we just watched it at the house, just me, Brittany, and Nelly. We were actually cheering for the 49ers because Brittany's from Northern California. She's a Swiftie, so she was kind of torn in this game. But, we were cheering for the 49ers because, obviously Pat Mahomes and Kelsey, those are 2 of the best of all time. But I wanted to see someone else win it. So watched it at home. And then for Valentine's Day, Brittany's got a Galentine's thing tonight. So I'm being kicked out of the house the night before a game. So her, Nelly, and 8 or 9 of their friends are going to be at the house, drinking wine and having a big dinner. So that's their plan tonight. I have no idea. I'll probably just be in the office watching South Carolina and Kentucky getting ready for those games this week. But that's their plans.
Kicked out of the house. I like how I ended the night before a game. I'm kicked out of the not just kicked out the night before a game. All right, he is Auburn Associate Head Coach Stephen Pearl. We always appreciate the time, Coach. Good luck.
Appreciate you guys. War Eagle.
All right, take care. Coach with us on the Johnston RVCenter.com hotline.
By the way, some good basketball tonight, including Kentucky. I don't know if they've ever lost 4 straight at home. They've lost 3 straight. They're at home tonight to tricky Ole Miss. 8 o'clock ESPN. You can watch that. Usually say home team has an advantage, but the Cats have lost 3 straight at Rupp. First time they've lost 3 straight home games since 1966.
Yeah, which means the first time ever at Rupp, right?
Yeah, I mean, if Calipari doesn't have their attention by now, something's going on. I mean, this team's about to slip out of the top 25, and they looked like early on a top 10 team.
That's just one of a couple of games tonight. You can play them all at mybookie.ag, mybookie.ag. I've got a big announcement for all of you that watched our Swifty Bowl, or whatever we called it, simulcast before the Super Bowl. We played it out on Madden. I got some mybookie.ag announcements, but also lanceslock.com to get where Lance is going tonight. Tell us about lanceslock.com. How do I sign up? How do I find and be a part of the lanceslock.com family?
Yeah, very simple. All you got to do is go to lanceslock.com. You're going to get a free play every single day. We're coming off a 1-1 last night. We're working on tonight's action, NBA and college basketball. Again, it's only $100 a month. You can monitor for a while. Check it out, lanceslock.com. See if you like it, if you want to jump in. Great Valentine's gift, by the way, for the gambler in your life. Throw them a little bone there at lanceslock.com.
Happy Valentine's Day, honey. The winners, for those of you that picked the right side point spread, I think San Francisco won our simulation, correct?
They did not.
No, Kansas City. Remember Valdez-Scantling had
right.
a game.
Valdez-Scantling.
Yeah, you had a stake on that, remember?
I did. I lost a stake on that. Many stakes I've lost. That was one of them. Kansas City won our simulation, and these are the people that won the drawing of all the correct picks. MyBookie.ag gave us an extra gift to credit at mybookie.ag to give away. So congratulations to these people. Scott Naismith, or Neesmith, Nesmith, gets a $250 credit. Also in third place, Micah Gentile, a $250 credit with mybookie.ag. Second place, Matt Galloway, a $500 credit at mybookie.ag. And anybody go with a drum roll? Drum roll, first place, Chad Hall. Chad Hall gets a $1,000 credit with our friends at mybookie.ag. All 4 of you be expecting an email from Lunsford at some point today, or maybe as we speak right now. He'll be contacting you to get information and tell you how you can take advantage of all that. So congratulations to Scott, Micah, Matt, and Chad. You're the big winners with our Simulation Swifty Bowl there with mybookie.ag. Show being brought to you today in part by Dr. B, LT's hair guy. Tell us about Dr. B, my man.
Yeah, again, if you're thinning out, you know somebody that's thinning out, tell them about it. And if it's you, make the phone call that I made to Dr. Beckenstein, best in the business, 205-319-0316. Since I went to see Dr. B, my hair has more than doubled in thickness. Again, I'm doing the non-invasive treatment, 30 minutes, 3 times a week on the couch. That is it. They're also offering Sensus Transdermal Infuser. This enables Dr. Beckenstein to get various medicines and therapies into the scalp where the hair follicles are without using any injections. This is revolutionary, as Dr. B can pinpoint delivery of a patient's genetically specific products without any needles. 205-319-0316 or T3hair.net.
And Precision Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, they'll keep you in the game. Tweak knee, tweak back, pickleball action gone wrong. Maybe you were trying to dunk for the first time since you were in high school and you ended up on your backside. They'll take care of anything and get you back into the game, whether it's you as a weekend warrior or just back to work. Go to our friends at Precision Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Here's their phone number to schedule an appointment, 205-512-3885, 512-3885, or go to the website, precisionsportsortho.com/2024, precisionsportsortho.com/2024. Orthopedic care is better together. Get back into the game with our friends at Precision Sports, precisionsportsortho.com/2024.
Never miss anything Auburn. Watch Village Vice at Wardam Pods on YouTube and listen wherever you get your podcasts.
There are so many things I love about Walk-Ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine prepared fresh daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And of course, they've got 2 great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-Ons is also a great place for happy hour. 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 and Hoover with Walk-Ons.
Fire damage to your home or business is something you never want to consider. Ryan Brown here from The Next Round. But in the horrible event it happens, Dry Tech is here to help. They respond quickly and will reply to you within 20 minutes when you call 205-637-0143. They're working for you, the customer, not the insurance company. They've got 5 crews ready to go 24/7. Don't call the insurance company first. Call Dry Tech. Just remember this website, mydrytech.com. That is mydrytech.com.
The Double Down Media podcast family is live and full of content for all ages. The Mystery Fifth Hour gives the Next Round host a chance to talk about everything but sports. Pour a glass of Bama and bourbon, our weekly college football conversation, while sipping on some of the most interesting pours in the bourbon world. And in our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, LT takes off the gloves for in-depth conversations with stars like Taylor Hicks, presented by Redmont Vodka. Find these podcasts and more by searching The Next Round on Apple, Spotify, and on our website, nextroundlive.com.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
What are you waiting for? It's non-stop gaming action at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Come play more than 900 of the latest and greatest games around, featuring fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can wager and win on horse and greyhound races from all over the world. There are more ways to win at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Birmingham Racecourse Casino, located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older.
The Next Round is so much more than the show you get from 9 to 1 each day. So make sure to head to our official YouTube channel at Next Round Live and subscribe to get all of our latest content. We, of course, have plenty of specialty content and shorts based all around the sports in the heart of the SEC. But we also talk pro sports, gambling, lifestyle and entertainment, and so much more. It's the Next Round YouTube channel where you never know what you're going to find next. Subscribe now to see the latest content and get notifications when we go live. That's at Next Round Live on YouTube.
Back with you on The Next Round. Nate Oates yesterday down at the Birmingham Tip-Off Club. They don't play again until Saturday, so they get a chance to roll some coaches through there. I think Bruce Pearl's there next Monday. Nate there yesterday. And one guy who was back in action this past week, Nick Pringle, had a big offensive day. And I think he's pretty important to this team down the stretch defensively, just another big body in the paint. Here's Nate Oates talking about the importance of Nick Pringle.
No, I thought the game Nick had was huge for us. I thought he got his mind set right. We talked about it this morning before practice. Like, you have to get your mind right the week leading up to the game. You got to have your mind right in the warm-ups going into the game. Everybody before the game said, man, Nick's ready to go. He looks like, sure enough, he's ready to go and he plays well. So I use it as a point learning lesson for the rest of our guys. Like, you got to get yourself ready to play through the week into the game, like the warm-ups, all of it. So hopefully Nick can take that and kind of springboard into some better games moving forward for us.
That's Nate Oates yesterday. LT's about to tell us about Woodhouse, and it's the time of love. Tomorrow's Valentine's Day. And I love these uniforms in Alabama throughout yesterday. Now, I'm told they're not from a specific year. They're not retro uniforms, though they do have a throwback look to them, specifically with the old A with the elephant running through it, the block A. But it's not a specific year. It's new threads, as you see there.
And just a throwback look, though, Brownie. That's fire. I like it.
It is. I really like the Alabama logo from my childhood, the elephant coming through the A. I think Alabama's got the best logo they've had right now with the script A, but that is the second best one they've had. I guess the only other one that's in running was the awful no shoulders angry elephant they did that one time, which was just looked like Walmart designed it. That's a good looking uniform, Lance.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I agree.
I like it too.
Somebody said in the chat room, Lance, that there is a rumor that logo is also going to be at midcourt, the elephant coming through the A instead of the script A.
Now that would
the worst.
That would be awesome. I will tell you this. That old A, when we came to what I think was known as Coach Bryant's A, I was glad to get rid of that retro A. But now any Alabama gear, and I don't buy a lot of it, but when I buy it, I go back to my childhood A and the elephant running through the A.
Oh, yeah.
I do like that A.
It's a great logo. The worst they ever had on the court, we love Wimp Sanderson, but that plaid was awful.
Yep. There have been a lot of people because Nate wears a lot of plaid jackets calling, I think Brian Passing, in fact, was calling for, let's go back to the pad Palace days.
I'm sure it's nostalgic for him because he played back in those days. I guess he kind of played more Hobbs.
You didn't like the parquet court?
I thought it was awful.
Yeah. I would tell you, Daniel says, I'd love that logo at midcourt. I would tell you what it would do. It would allow it because
this bothers you.
The Coach Bryant A, you cannot center up on the court. Just like they can't center up the Blaze UAB with the fire coming out, it's offset. That block A, you'll be able to center it up on the court. It will look geometrically soothing to my eyes. But I do love that logo. Problem was, and for those that didn't live through it, Arkansas also had an A like that. It was sort of, I won't say it was common across the country, but that was a period of time that a lot of people had that type of logo. And so it wasn't really unique specifically to Alabama. Like Arkansas had a hog running through one. Auburn had an eagle flying through an A. I mean,
that's a good looking one too.
Well, that's the hoodie that Steven had on today. I think he's trying to bring his hoodie game now because it's 3 different ones over the last 3 weeks.
Y'all didn't mention it this time, so his feelings are going to be hurt.
But they've all been good. He has yet to wear a bad looking hoodie. That one today was fantastic.
I was just getting him back for the snow day we did where both Bullet and Chili joined the show and he didn't say anything.
Tell us about Woodhouse Day Spa. I mean, there are men right now, LT, at 9:51 Central Time, 10:51 Eastern.
I have not bought anything. Have you bought anything?
That have not figured out Valentine's
Day. Well,
you
the gift that keeps giving. You're leaving town. She's got to love that. But you're right. I mean, a lot of guys procrastinate if you have not bought that gift yet. It's this simple. You can swing by the Summit location of the Woodhouse Day Spa, or you can order online right now. They can have that actually emailed to you. It's this simple. Treat that special someone this Valentine's to the gift of luxury from Birmingham's best day spa. It's the Woodhouse Day Spa located at the Summit Shopping Centers right off of Highway 280. Choose from a menu of over 70 options, including massages, body treatment, skincare, waxing, nail services. Woodhouse Day Spa voted America's best day spa since 2009. Order that special person gift for Valentine's 24/7 right now. Birmingham.woodhousespas.com. That's Birmingham.woodhousespas.com, or stop in, see Stewart, the great staff, and tell them the next round sent you.
Tomorrow, for those that observe it after Fat Tuesday, tomorrow is the start of Lent. Some people give things up. Some people take things on, like reading Bible verses or going through a Bible study, or some people give up something. And I was debating on what I was going to give up over the next 40 or so days. I think I made a promise to you a long time ago that I would never give up Diet Coke again, because I think you told me I was the most miserable person ever to live in.
I remember the Lynch you gave up Diet Coke, and I was working with you, and it was awful.
Yeah,
and I think even God would say, Jim, we're good. You go and drink some Diet Coke.
Go ahead with the Diet Coke. Yeah. I don't drink a ton, but I'm thinking of giving alcohol up.
Okay.
And then
it's important to give up something you don't do a lot of.
Yeah, I
don't think that's in the spirit of
somebody
Lent.
told me that you were going to give up alcohol.
Yeah. No, but alcohol, and then I think I'm going to give up bread for 40-ish.
Oh, you'll drop some weight doing it.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I don't know if I should know this because I'm married to a pastor, but I think it's 40 days of Lent.
Atlanta's 40 days, and that gets you to Easter, right?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a leap year. Is it 41 days? That's why I went 40-ish.
So Easter, you could eat all the bread you want at that point.
Yeah, technically by rule on Sundays after church, you can take a break from it and go back to it.
Oh, really?
But I never do it that way. I'm hardcore.
Good thing you mentioned.
I hate to doubt your commitment, but much like most people thought that I couldn't do this alcohol thing, and I had a conversation with our buddy Jimmy Anthony yesterday. And I was like, "That hasn't been bad at all." I don't think you can give up bread for 40 days.
What's going to be your
I've done it
biggest?
before.
Well, what's going to be your biggest issues?
Well, the fact that I love hot dogs, and I ate three more last night watching Kansas go down.
Okay, it's hard to do a hot dog without bread.
It is.
There's really no replacement there.
It is. It's hard to do a hamburger. It's hard to do waffle, pancakes. I put that in the bread category.
It's bread.
I love a good breakfast. That's hard to do. I love toast.
Yeah, that's
I
bread.
love a good sandwich.
Yeah, bread is the quickest way to drop weight. There's no doubt.
Oh,
like
I
wasn't even thinking about that. So
100% you'll drop weight.
With me not okay.
Pizza?
So
Can't do pizza.
Yeah, pizza crust gonna get you.
Going back to the third day after my surgery, the tonsillectomy back in March, I weighed 191. I weighed this morning for the first time since that week, and I felt like I've lost over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I've lost some weight.
Yeah.
But what do you think I weighed? So I was 191 roughly 8 months ago.
212.
How much ago? 191?
I was 191.
What were your biggest? What was your
well, I stayed 195 for like 25 consecutive years, but the last year or two, I've probably up to 205.
What were you when you started no alcohol February?
I don't know. I mean, I haven't weighed
I wish you
8
got on the
months.
scale for that.
Yeah, I should have.
Because I cannot say this, because when I compliment people, it never comes out the right way. But you can see a little bit of it in your face right now that you've lost a pound or two. I'm going to say you're 195 again.
218.
218. I was off. I went 212.
What's going off?
No, I mean it could have. I don't know. I mean, it's gone way up since the 191.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 27 more pounds than I was 8 months ago.
Oh, you're carrying it well, though. I don't think you look bad.
Maybe it's the Sunday Red. I mean, maybe it's the new Tiger line.
No, it was funny. I mean,
looks slim today.
No, Maddie told me this morning, she was like, "You look like you've lost a lot of weight." So I was like, you know what? I'm going to weigh. I haven't weighed in 8 months. And I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Maybe
I'm
you're just
218.
you're adding muscle. Muscle's heavier than...
So she said that too, that
Yeah.
you looked at, you just in the face, you look a little thinner today. Sunday Red, we keep making that reference. Tiger Woods announced his new logo.
I saw this, but I haven't seen the logo.
Yeah, it's pretty good looking.
Oh, you
stuff,
think so?
right?
I think it looks awful.
You don't like that?
Not at all.
But it's Sunday Red. They spread it out like that.
Kind of weird to me.
Yeah, I mean, that's... So it's a tiger that looks like kind of a melted candle / just bones.
Yeah, I don't think it looks good at all.
It does look like a skeleton tiger running down the jungle.
I saw somebody say on Twitter today, I cannot believe we waited this long for Tiger to unveil this, only for it to look like something I could buy off Temu.
By the way, Temu,
which is, by the way, not a compliment, in case you're wondering.
Temu, that's the first time I heard of it, was during the
No, I've seen it
Bowl.
before.
Yeah.
Some of our coworkers have been buying stuff there and debating, are they getting the real stuff or are they getting an amazing facsimile?
Okay. So sometimes it's like I'm buying
Nobody
a watch
knows.
on the streets of New York City.
I don't think anybody knows what Temu is.
I don't know what it is.
I
really, you know what I thought it was?
What?
Because we're in a world that is becoming more diverse now.
Yeah.
I thought it was like Spanish-speaking Etsy is what I thought it was.
You know, I saw the most embarrassing thing I've
Speaking Etsy.
Oh, me gusta. I like that.
I thought Temu was Spanish for Etsy.
Yeah. Speaking of the diversity, this morning I was on the Peloton and I was watching Roku.
Yeah.
And so they did, you remember how like Secret is strong enough for a man but made for a woman, pH balance?
Yeah.
So the Secret commercial, it starts out with all these women talking and stuff, and it's like, if you like how you naturally smell, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to smell a little bit better, use Secret. So they have to do a disclaimer now.
You don't stink.
Yeah, if you're a crunchy chick that doesn't shave her underarms, we don't want to offend you. If you want to smell like a true lady.
McConaughey doesn't wear deodorant.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying. I mean, it's pathetic that you've got to do a disclaimer now that if you want to smell natural.
Clay Travis coming up next segment, and we will get to that. That won't be golf. That's just apparel and shoes for Tiger, right?
What do you mean it won't be golf?
The Sunday Red. It won't be like clubs.
No.
Yeah, I think he's just showing Nike. I'm done with you.
Yeah, no, this is his apparel line. Yeah,
and I assume that his son will.
Oh, I would imagine Charlie will wear it.
Be
Yeah,
one of the first endorsement deals.
part of the family business.
And he debuts it, by the way, Thursday out at the Genesis. Clay Travis on the other side. We'll talk to Clay post Super Bowl. what he has going on, and a lot more. And I got something coming up I want to ask you guys about off of Deshaun Foster being announced at UCLA yesterday. It was a great moment. We'll show that to you later on. Show brought to you by Storm Restoration Roofing. Our man Greg from Pell City will not tease ahead to anything. He'll just get on your roof the moment you call, and he'll find out if anything's going on with the roof up here. We had somebody walking down the hallways looking for one roof leak we had up here, and I joked with him in the hallway. I said, I don't know if Greg does big 4-story, 5-story buildings, but we need to call our boy Greg from Pell City. If you got a leak going on this roof up here, he'll get on your roof, give you a no cost, no obligation roof inspection. Call this number 205-542-3531, 542-3531, or look him up on Facebook, Greg from Pell City. Locally owned for over 20 years. He and his wife own the company, A-plus rated with the Better Business Bureau, the best warranties in the industry, which is so important. And insurance companies trust him. He'll fight for you with the insurance companies, but a lot of times don't even have to fight for you. They know Greg's reputation. They'll help you out. It's Greg from Pell City on Facebook, Storm Restoration Roofing.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
Hey, Ryan Brown here from The Next Round. Do you want to help pay for my kids' college and look great while you're doing it? You need to go to The Next Round store. Everything from hats to short sleeve and long sleeve t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, zip-up hoodies, and much more. And we're adding new things all the time. Why would you not want to see my kids get a great college education and look great out in the public while you're doing it? Get the gear we wear all the time on the show, and there's only one place to get it. nextround.store. That's nextround.store.
If renting is putting a dent in your bank account, here's your sign from the universe that it's time to buy a new home. And who better to help you through the ins and outs of home buying than our friends at Mortgage Right. With Mortgage Right, you don't have to worry about becoming a short notice mortgage expert because they do all the heavy lifting for you. They're trusted mortgage professionals, and they'll help you choose the right mortgage option and stand by your side every step of the way. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to buy before renting runs you dry. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Fire damage to your home or business is something you never want to consider. Ryan Brown here from The Next Round. But in the horrible event it happens, Dry Tech is here to help. They respond quickly and will reply to you within 20 minutes when you call 205-637-0143. They're working for you, the customer, not the insurance company. They've got 5 crews ready to go 24/7. Don't call the insurance company first. Call Dry Tech. Just remember this website, mydrytech.com. That is mydrytech.com.
Make sure to start your day at nextroundlive.com. Get caught up on the latest podcasts and videos from the live daily show, plus specialty shows such as the Mystery Fifth Hour. You can also learn more about the whole staff at Double Down Media, find all of our social media feeds, see the latest videos from our YouTube channel and gaming channel, plus find other ways to consume the show like the Next Round mobile app, which you can download direct from the site via your iOS and Android device. Make nextroundlive.com your homepage and stay up to date with everything from us here at the Next Round.
There are so many things I love about Walk-Ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine, prepared fresh, daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And of course, they've got 2 great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-Ons is also a great place for happy hour, 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 in Hoover with Walk-Ons.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Play Travis in just a second. This show being brought to you in part by our friends at Redmont Vodka. I know, LT, a lot of people will be grabbing a Redmont vodka where they can this summer and going to see Shohei Ohtani, who was back swinging for the first time yesterday. Did you see that? 21 swings after elbow surgery. According to reports, 10 of them went over the outfield fence. They think Ohtani's going to be ready for opening day, just like our friends with Redmond Vodka.
Well, yeah, and think about Ohtani just gets to focus on swinging it. That's it. Redmond Vodka, it is available in California, available in 22 states, locally owned and operated. Charles Barkley, one of the great faces behind it, 8 times distilled, gluten-free. Ask for it by name if they don't have it. Tell them to get it. It's Redmond Vodka.
All right, Clay Travis is with us, founder of Outkick. You also see him on Fox at Clay Travis on Twitter. What is up, Clay? How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are y'all?
I'm doing fantastic. I cannot remember if I asked you this last week, so I'm just going to ask you again. The Super Bowl is the most watched thing in television history now, this past Super Bowl. Is there anything you think we could show that would top that? I mean, like, just be as creative as you want. Is there anything we could show on TV that would draw that kind of number?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, historically, the moon landing is the most watched thing ever, and it was on every channel simultaneously.
It was literally the only option you could watch on TV at that given moment.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I think that, the population was a lot smaller in 1969 than it is today. So that factors in. But basically, every American in the country was watching the moon landing back in '69. I would imagine the JFK assassination coverage in 1963 was almost universal too. And I would think, obviously you have the cable satellite era, which is different, but I would think the most watched thing in the 21st century from a news perspective would probably be 9/11 in terms of what happened on that day and all of the immediate aftermath of coverage, and the fact that basically every channel went to 9/11 coverage as well. So sadly, I think it would require something of that magnitude, right? 9/11 on a negative side, moon landing on a positive side, a presidential assassination. I can't think, sadly, of anything positive that could happen where everybody would suddenly want to watch. I can't think of anything.
What about this one? I said this, I think this came out like a month ago. I said if you had an interview with an alien, like if we knew there was other life form, and I don't know who's the best interviewer out there right now, and they had a one-on-one and they sat down and you were able to ask this alien all of these questions, I think the entire world would tune in, right?
You'll need to rephrase your question. Who's a better interviewer than you, Clay? If you couldn't do it, who could do it?
I would be amazing interviewing an alien. But most people would think that wasn't real. It's a funny idea, but that would at least be somewhat positive, unless the alien was here to announce that they were going to exterminate us, which would obviously be a dark interview.
Hey, when we had this conversation, though, Clay, somebody was like, we wouldn't be friendly. Like, the alien wouldn't have an opportunity. Like, if an alien landed, they couldn't just go get a burger.
No,
like, we're going to take them and we're going to prod and probe them, and ultimately dissect them.
Yeah.
But there's no way they could just come in and kind of hang out, right?
Well, I think if we have alien life forms, don't you think that they would be able to actually pretend that they were humans?
That's true. They would embody a human. If they're that smart
enough,
yep.
Yeah.
If they're smart enough for interstellar space travel, I think they probably could figure out how to impersonate humans.
Yeah, we always think they're so smart that they would be able to impersonate us, or that they could do this or that, be invisible. What if they're dumber than we are?
Well, Clay's right. If they're interstellar, if they're able to get here, they're smart.
Interstellar space travel, Dunaway, would suggest that they're probably fairly intelligent.
But yeah, okay, so maybe they're good at math. What if they're not good at running or anything like that? What if?
they're not going to take a wrong turn in the universe.
Can't shoot free throws.
Damn, we ended up here.
Or maybe this is the one that went wrong. They were trying to go to one of their moons and it missed, and they think this is like in the Elton John song. This guy's just lost in space forever, and he accidentally ran into our planet.
I am of the opinion that aliens have visited Earth. I don't know what you guys believe on that question. What the three of you? Do you think aliens have visited Earth?
I definitely, I would put every amount of money that I've ever made that there is another life form in the universe out there. I don't know if they've visited, though, but I do feel very confident there is other life form out there.
Yeah,
I think they've visited.
I would say no. I don't think there's another life form or that they visited.
What if they were dinosaurs and we won the war?
And not a lot of documentation on that.
Well, there's a lot of dinosaur bones everywhere.
That's right, and we're still here.
What if instead of an asteroid hitting Earth, somebody just decided to test a missile on Earth years and years ago, and that's what killed the dinosaurs?
Yeah, Clay's got a point there. Yeah.
But no, I think they've been here. Now, the argument against it, I love looking at UFO videos. I love reading about them. Obviously the government recently released a bunch of videos. I mean, back in 2020, saying there are UFOs. I'm sure you guys saw that, but it was during COVID, and it was like on the 8th page of the New York Times. Like nobody really cared, which I think the interview with the alien argument would potentially make people just not care that much. But the argument against it would be they're so smart that they could get here and then they crash. Like that seems unlikely. Now maybe the spaceship, like in some way is out of whatever juice they're using, or maybe their spaceship goes awry. The other one that's spooky is maybe they're not aliens. Maybe somewhere in the future, time travel is possible, and what we're seeing are people who are coming back and time traveling, which is really kind of fascinating too. So anyway, I spend probably way too much time thinking about things like this.
I would say Clay Travis with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. I would say Joe Rogan or Bill Maher on the interview, because I find, first of all, they're not part of traditional media. But secondly, I think they're both talented interviewers because they don't care if they're going to piss anybody off. And I think to be a really good interviewer, Clay, you can't worry about upsetting the subject of your interview or anyone associated. Now, we're talking about an alien here, so it's a bit of a different situation. But I find those to be, in our day of media, two of the better interviewers out there.
Look, those are the only two shows that I haven't done that I would be like, I would like to do those shows.
Yeah.
So I think that Rogan and Maher both have really good shows. I think Bill Maher might have the best job in media, by which I mean he only has to do one day a week, and he has probably a staff of 20 writers. If you told me, hey, Clay, you only have to do, what is this show, an hour? You only have to do 1 hour of a show a week, but it has to be really good. I'd be like, that sounds like an incredible opportunity. Same thing with John Oliver, some of those other guys who are only doing, I think now, isn't Jon Stewart coming back and only doing like Mondays, so 1 day a week?
He's just doing Mondays.
Oh, yeah? What network?
Yeah,
for Comedy Central.
Yeah,
Rachel
Maddow, I think, just does Mondays too. The 1 day a week show that you get paid $30 or $40 million
Yeah,
for.
we all want that. Yes.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a bad life.
Clay, we were talking earlier. Tiger Woods launched his new brand, and we were talking about his kid Charlie Woods. We're sure is going to be sporting that brand. If you could only represent moving forward Charlie Woods or Jaden Daniels, who would you represent?
Probably Charlie. Well, I mean, I hate to, what is Charlie Woods, like 14? So, I mean, you put a lot of pressure on a 14-year-old because he may just decide that he doesn't like golf that much. I mean, his dad's obviously basically a billionaire. He may not be that driven. I think Charlie Woods is 14 years old. So that, we know Jaden Daniels is going to be like number 10 overall pick, or top, 5, whoever ends up taking him. You're going to get the guaranteed contract of roughly probably $45 million. And then, I mean, that's a lot of money, but then really you make your big money when you get to your second quarterback contract. That's where you get the, $50 million a year, type number, which would take you to 250, 300 million. If he were really good, he'd make 300 million over the next 10 years. So I'd probably take Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, golf money is only going to increase. Well, I say that. I think it's only going to increase, but it's only going to increase to the level that it's not so fractured that the TV networks don't have any interest anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and also you've got to be a top 15 golfer, and who knows what, a 14? What is he, 14?
I think he's 14 or 15, Clay. Yeah, and the odds would tell you he's not going to be successful on the PGA Tour. I mean, he looks like a tremendous player, but I'm just saying odds are I mean, what are the odds that a father and a son are the guy that
But
level?
just follow along with me here. What is successful? Because successful by Tiger Woods or Phil Mickelson standard, or successful, say, by Dale Earnhardt Jr. standard? Dale Earnhardt Jr. was
face of a sport.
Was also the son of Dale Earnhardt,
right?
And so Charlie will always be Tiger Woods' son. So he will be in a lot of tournaments just because he's Tiger Woods' son, and he only has to have sort of medium success to be a fan favorite, I think, and an endorsement icon.
He'll have to play to a certain level to be in those tournaments, so he can't just get in on his name.
Yeah, and also again, how driven is he going to be?
Yeah.
I mean, Tiger's competitive instincts are legion, right? And by the way, I don't know how long this clip is out. Have you guys seen Randy Moss and Julian Edelman talking about Bill Belichick lecturing the team about Tiger Woods?
No.
Just Google it. It came out like a couple of weeks ago. You could play it on your show. I think everybody would love it. But I'm going to spoil the punchline a little bit. But it was like Bill Belichick was furious at his team because they weren't committed enough to winning. He didn't think. This was when Randy Moss was on the team. So, and he was lecturing them about how they all needed to have Tiger Woods' instincts. He's like, while you guys are out running around chasing tail, you know what Tiger Woods is doing? He's practicing his putting. And then, like 3 weeks later, the Tiger Woods story happened.
Yes.
And so the whole team is stretching, warming up, and Bill Belichick's walking around, twirling his whistle, and everybody's like doing stretching, and there's not much noise. And then Edelman's like, suddenly Randy Moss yells out, "Hey, Bill!" And everybody's like silent, and he's like, "How about that Tiger Woods?" And the whole team just completely lost it. But like literally 3 weeks after Belichick was lecturing about how all Tiger cared about was golf, and how nobody else had his drive and his competitive instinct, and everybody needed to do exactly what Tiger Woods did. So anyway, I love that. But I mean, I think it goes to there are lots of distractions when you start to have a little bit of success, and if you're already, I mean, I think this goes for any athlete, but if you're already the son of someone who is wealthy, I just question how committed you are to worrying about, whether you make the cut at the, 2043 U.S. Open or whatever the heck it's going to end up being.
All right, he is Clay Travis. You can follow him on Twitter at Clay Travis, founder of Outkick and CMO Fox as well. Thank you very much for the time, Clay. Have a great week.
All right, appreciate y'all. See you.
All right, Clay with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.
And also brought to you today by our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. UCA has over 35 urologists, 16 locations spread out across the state of Alabama to help you, the men of this great country of ours, take care of your body. From prostate health to kidney stones, they'll take care of you, everything in between that as well. Early detection is so important in life, and they'll take care of all your urological needs. Again, 35 urologists, 16 locations. Visit UrologyCentersAlabama.com, UrologyCentersAlabama.com to schedule your appointment. 321 NFL prospects have been invited to the Combine coming up in Indianapolis. The quarterbacks are Jaden Daniels, Sam Hartman, Devin Leary, Drake May, J.J. McCarthy, Joe Milton, Bo Nix, Michael Penix Jr., Michael Pratt, Spencer Radler, Austin Reed, Keaton Slovis, Jordan Travis, and Caleb Williams. Alphabetical order there. A nice list of quarterbacks. Is that a deep quarterback class, in your opinion? How many of those are starters, LT and Brownie?
Well, I think it could be. I think immediately you're going to have three guys that are probably starting next year in Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, and Drake May. I think J.J. McCarthy, Michael Penix, and Bo Nix, depending on where they go, and possibly Spencer Radler could end up being starting quarterbacks in this league.
I am an Austin Reed respecter, if you remember on this show at Western Kentucky. I've always liked Austin Reed. I think he's an interesting guy to watch.
Is there a comparison in his game to somebody who does play in the NFL, you think?
I really don't know. I'm traditionally awful at that,
too. Case Keenum, maybe.
Yeah,
I mean, I think Austin Reed is going to be a guy that will be on a roster. He's had a ton of experience, at least at the collegiate level. Very consistent, very accurate.
Good arm, man. He could sling it.
I think he'll be on a roster. I don't think I'm not going to say he's never going to be a starting quarterback. I mean, I never would have thought that with Brock Purdy or Aiden O'Connell or any of these guys.
He gets labeled a system quarterback, but
he played for the Hiltons, and they're good, good offensive minds, obviously. Tyson Hilton, his coach up there.
You did not mention Jordan Travis as a one-day starter. No. Jordan Travis.
I don't see it.
Michael Pratt, Tulane, you did not mention him.
Don't see it.
Joe Milton will go to the Combine. He'll wow some people, right?
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah, not a big fan.
Devin Leary, you did not. And then there's Sam Hartman, who I think, if he had not gone to play at Notre Dame and came out of the draft last year, would there have been a market for Sam Hartman if he hadn't have played one more year at Notre Dame?
Well, I brought this up when Tyler Buckner transferred to Alabama, the familiarity with Tommy Rees. I was like, why would they have not gotten the 1A quarterback that Notre Dame's going to get in Sam Hartman? If Sam Hartman would have played at Alabama, you wonder how different his draft stock is.
No, I would agree. I mean, at Wake Forest, Sam Hartman looked like almost a can't-miss pro prospect. I didn't see a ton of that out of him at Notre Dame. It's just so hard to know. I mean, I don't know why we sit here and say who is a can't-miss guy. The NFL can't even get it right. I mean, it is literally a shot in the dark.
Yeah.
I mean,
I never thought Pat Mahomes was going to be a consistent starting quarterback in the league. I never thought Dak Prescott was going to start in this league.
I mean, we're in a situation where Austin Reed, Western Kentucky quarterback, has just as good a chance to me at being a significant starter in the NFL as Sam Hartman, Notre Dame quarterback. I mean, if I forced you gun to head to say who had the better career, you wouldn't feel good about either pick, would you? Austin Reed or Sam Hartman?
No.
I mean, the NFL doesn't even know. Why would you think you would know?
The Combine coming up in April as we get closer. Well, it's not before April. The draft's coming up at the end of April. So when is the Combine? End of February, 1st of March?
So, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll get to that coming up. We told you yesterday that Adam Rittenberg had reported over the weekend that the succession plan in Tuscaloosa was likely to promote Shepard and Sheridan up to co-offensive coordinators, and with Nick Sheridan to be the play caller. That was reported by Adam Rittenberg of ESPN back on Saturday as the Ryan Grubb story was going down. Matt Zenitz reporting today that the current plan for Alabama is to have tight ends coach Nick Sheridan actually handle the play calling this year. The source is telling him. Former Michigan quarterback helped Washington post big numbers the last 2 years under Kalen DeBoer and was previously at Indiana, DeBoer was. And so Sheridan would move up into the play calling role and share with Shepard, the wide receivers coach, the role of co-offensive coordinator.
Technically was offensive coordinator at Indiana at one point, but I don't think Nick Sheridan's got extensive play calling history there. So this will be kind of trial by fire for him. Interesting to watch. But, again, I think Kalen DeBoer will be in his ear a lot.
Yeah.
This was the plan that Rittenberg instantly went with from ESPN, and we mentioned it yesterday on the show that was the likely path that Alabama would take. I don't know if that closes the door in the pursuit for another offensive coordinator, if that's just a plan for the time being, but if that is the plan for spring ball and for next season, that would close the door on Eli Drinkowitz losing another coordinator in Columbia with Moore, who was hotly tied to the conversation for that job opening there.
By the way, if you remember the name Bill Sheridan, the defensive coordinator for your Buccaneers back in the day, that's his son. Nick Sheridan is his son. I don't know if you
Funny how a lot of coaching sons are in the business nowadays, including Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah.
A little conversation about Kyle Shanahan and much more college football when we come back on the show. That's being brought to you today in part by our friends at New York Butcher Shop. Tell us about New York Butcher, LT.
Yeah, I want to let you guys know Valentine's obviously tomorrow. If you're looking for a big-time dinner for two from our friends at the New York Butcher Shop. Package includes 2 8-ounce choice fillets, loaded twice-baked potatoes, garden salad, yeast rolls, only $59.99. You can upgrade to Prime for just $10 more. Treat your special someone with a Valentine's Day special for 2. Create that romantic evening at home. You can call, reserve yours today. 2 locations, New York Butcher Shop, Cahaba Heights and Greystone. Call Jim and the guys. New York Butcher Shop, rare done quality, well done service. It's the New York Butcher Shop.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor.
For more than 40 years, Red Wing Shoes has been helping the hardworking people of Alabama. This is why Red Wing Shoes has created the 3-step comfort solution. Step 1, a certified fit specialist will use a 3D scan to electronically measure your feet and arches. Step 2, the fit specialist helps you get the appropriate footwear for your occupation. Step 3, customize your boot or shoe with a Red Wing orthotic. Whether you have a high arch or flat feet, Red Wing has comfort solutions for you. So experience comfort at its best. Visit one of the Red Wing shoe stores located in Pelham or Trussville.
There are so many things I love about Walk-Ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine, prepared fresh, daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And of course, they've got 2 great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-Ons is also a great place for happy hour, 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 in Hoover with Walk-Ons.
The Double Down Media podcast family is live and full of content for all ages. The Mystery Fifth Hour gives the Next Round hosts a chance to talk about everything but sports. Pour a glass of Bama and bourbon, our weekly college football conversation, while sipping some of the most interesting pours in the bourbon world. And our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, presented by Redmont Vodka. LT has in-depth conversations with personalities like Clay Travis and Taylor Hicks. Find those podcasts and more by searching The Next Round on Apple and Spotify. And remember to like and subscribe.
Are you ready for a winning season in your finances? Legacy Credit Union is bringing you a slam dunk deal on their credit cards. Apply for their balance transfer and pay 0 balance transfer fees. That's right, there is no balance transfer fees, and they're offering a jaw-dropping 2.99% APR for the first 6 months. Whether you're looking to clear the cord of those holiday expenses or just wanting to streamline your finances, apply online today, LegacyCreditUnion.com. Annual percentage rate, terms and conditions may apply. See Credit Union for details. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Bandwagon wants to remind you that baseball and softball season is right around the corner and their shelves are stocked with everything your kid needs. From grip tape to gloves to custom uniforms, Bandwagon has all the gear, big and small, for those ballpark days. Until February 3rd, you spend $100 on baseball or softball equipment and Bandwagon will give you $20 off. Just tell them the Next Round sent you. Visit locations in Cahaba Heights, Homewood, and Trussville, or go online to bandwagonsports.com. Next Round listeners, it's time to jump on the bandwagon. The Double Down Media podcast family is live and full of content for all ages. The Mystery Fifth Hour gives the Next Round host a chance to talk about everything but sports. Pour a glass of Bama and bourbon, our weekly college football conversation while sipping some of the most interesting pours in the bourbon world. And our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call. LT takes off the gloves for an in-depth conversation with stars like Taylor Hicks, presented by Redmont Vodka. Find those podcasts and more by searching The Next Round on Apple, Spotify, and on our website, nextroundlive.com. Back with you on the Next Round as we roll on. Johnston RV Center has you rolling all over America in 2024. Honk the horn. And let's get to Johnston RV Center right now.
Yeah, don't forget that the RV show is coming up next weekend at the BJCC. We will be there next Saturday with our friends from Johnston RV Center. But all month long, the entire month of February, you could get RV show pricing at the Coleman Light. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman. 334 in Decatur is the other location there, but I want to focus on the Coleman location because the Birmingham RV show is going to be coming up in a couple of weeks. You can save big, first of all, on RV show pricing. It's going to be great pricing. That's number one. Number two, if you will do this, go to johnstonrvcenter.com/TNR. You can RSVP for a visit and get up to $1,000 in incentives. johnstonrvcenter.com/TNR to get up to $1,000 of incentives on top of that already great pricing. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. Always online, johnstonrvcenter.com.
Listen, I don't know if Deshaun Foster is going to be successful at UCLA, but we all acknowledge that UCLA is in a precarious situation moving to the Big Ten. It doesn't look like they have a ton of NIL money. Doesn't look like they have a ton of money, period. And they're in a interesting position. The scene yesterday when they announced it, Rockstar cut number 6, if you will, when they announced Deshaun Foster to the players, it was pretty exciting. I love these videos. Here's how it looked yesterday out in Westwood.
We want somebody that wants to be a Bruin. Well, we didn't get somebody that wants to be a Bruin. We got it, Brewer. Come on out, Coach. Your new head coach.
So Deshaun Foster welcomed by the players yesterday. And it gets into an interesting discussion about who is really good as an alumni that coaches at their former program. Obviously, we're coming off a year where the alumnus of Michigan, Jim Harbaugh, led his school to a national championship, and now he's out to the NFL. In the game, you got to say Kirby Smart's at the top of the game right now. He's an alum of Georgia.
Yeah, look, he's number one. I will just say this real quick with the introduction on Deshaun Foster. He ain't the first Bruin to get the job. I mean, we saw Rick Neuheisel had the job. We saw Carl Durrell had the job. It is a difficult job. Those guys had a couple of good seasons. I think, Chip Kelly, the last couple of seasons haven't been bad. This is a really difficult job, but I think the bar is obviously Kirby Smart
and Harbaugh, who just did it, left, but Smart's still in the league. Mike Gundy, he's done a good job at his school, Oklahoma State.
Yep.
Kalani Sitake is a BYU guy.
Yeah, I think he's done an average job.
Yeah, I think he's done okay. I would give him a B-, C+.
Yeah. Kenny Dillingham did not play college football, but he's an Arizona State guy. I thought he performed better last year than Arizona State's roster probably indicated.
Yeah, I would agree. I thought it was better than advertised going into the season, but we'll see now that there might be a little expectation.
Brent Key is a Georgia Tech guy, and it seems like
it's very early.
He's pulling it forward a little bit.
Headed in the right direction. It's super early.
Jeff Brom is a Louisville guy, and I thought last year was better.
Yeah, good first year.
Yeah, we expected it because of the schedule, but I thought maybe a little bit better than even I thought they would be.
Yeah, look, and that's a good job. I mean, we've seen Bobby Petrino, a play away from playing for a national championship. We've seen Louisville recently win a Heisman Trophy with Lamar Jackson, so that is a job that you can actually win a championship.
And then there's these other two guys that I don't think you can give passing grades to right now. One of them is Clark Lee at Vanderbilt. And Vandy's a tough job, but I don't think he's even met Vanderbilt's expectations right now. You?
No, I would think that, obviously James Franklin's kind of the bar when it comes to Vanderbilt, but I even think Derek Mason had better years than Clark Lee.
I really don't know what expectations are there.
I would say a bowl game every other year.
God,
just a bowl game, 6-6.
That's a high expectation. I don't expect that.
So you would have to schedule your 4 out of conference have got to be complete layups.
They basically do that.
Well, they have and they haven't.
They had Hawaii in a home and home.
Yeah, that's a layup. That's
they
about
won
as
both
layup
of them,
as you can
right?
get. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, now they barely beat them this go around.
They've played Notre Dame. They've played Michigan.
They have, but that's not recent.
Yeah. Mario Cristobal is the other one, and at least to date,
I give it an F.
Yeah, not a passing grade.
Yeah. That could flip completely in 1 year.
Yeah, had a huge recruiting class this past recruiting time. But, we start the clock on Billy Napier at Florida, not an alum, but just going conversation-wise, Billy Napier's had the clock ticking on him pretty quick already at Florida. I think they were hired the same year, weren't they?
Yeah,
Cristobal and Billy Napier? Why?
Yeah, this will be year 3.
Why is there not the same discussion? Billy Napier is coaching for his job this year at Florida, it seems like.
I think here's the difference. I think they need to be, and we've had Chris Doering, former Florida Gator, on Sirius XM, and he said, look, we've got to be patient with this guy. You cannot continue to reset the clock every 2 or 3 years. That's literally what Miami has done, and since Larry Coker won a national championship, they haven't had success. So I think Miami looks at this, and they just find themselves in a really difficult position, and they probably have the best coach they can get. Florida, to me, is still one of those alpha programs where if you get the right coach in there, you can win a national championship. I don't know if that's possible at Miami. So I think Florida is more impatient than Miami, and Florida's got a much deeper fan base.
In this discussion we're having, is Kirby the second best all time already?
Behind Bear Bryant?
Bear Bryant would have to be first.
He's an alum,
He played at Alabama.
Yeah.
Spurrier played at Florida, but I would say Kirby has been more successful than Spurrier.
One national championship to 2. If you just go with that, Kirby's got 2.
The conference are going to be different. I think Spurrier won 6 conference championships.
I still am going to say that Spurrier has had a better coaching career than Kirby. I think Kirby will ultimately pass him, and I think Kirby could ultimately pass Bear Bryant. But right now, I would say Spurrier in front.
If you just went Florida to Georgia, you would say that still?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would.
I would have Kirby at Georgia better than Spurrier at Florida. But it's close.
Yeah, but
I'm not gonna die on that hill.
I do think Kirby will eventually pass him, and he has in national championships. but Spurrier, what he was doing in the 90s. I mean, they were one of the programs you had to beat to win an SEC or really to win a national championship.
I still think, as much success as Bobby Bowden was having them and Tom Osborne, I think Spurrier might have been viewed as the best coach for a while in the 90s. Is that fair?
Yeah, nationally, yeah. Oh, I don't disagree with that.
Now, Osborne was not a Nebraska guy, right? In your discussion, I'm trying to think of who were alums over the years at the places they coached.
Was Switzer at Oklahoma?
I don't think he was an Oklahoma guy.
Tom Osborne went to Hastings College.
Right.
But he got his master's at Nebraska.
Check Barry Switzer. I know he was an assistant at Oklahoma when he got promoted to being a head coach. I don't know if he was an Oklahoma guy.
He played at Arkansas. That's right. He was Jerry Jones' teammate. Remember, that's how he got the Cowboys job.
That's right.
So, I mean, it doesn't happen a ton, and it is obviously pretty hard to succeed when you do it because we can sit here and list them off pretty easily.
Yeah. You know, I don't know who all was those guys, but when you start naming them, obviously Bryant, Spurrier, Kirby's doing a heck of a job now.
Where do you think Pete Carroll went to school? I never knew this. I
Toledo.
Can't believe it.
I'm going to say Pete Carroll. You think he was in the MAC? I'm going to say Miami of Ohio.
2 different schools, Marin College and then Pacific.
Yeah. When you start looking at some of these really good coaches, they didn't go to college powerhouses. Yeah. I mean, Nick Saban played at Kent State.
Do you guys even know where Pacific is?
I always viewed it to be in L.A.
It's in California, and I think it's in Malibu.
No.
That's Pepperdine.
That's Pepperdine. Yeah. I didn't realize Pacific, like I thought it was somewhere on the West Coast. I didn't know exactly, but it's in a shithole, Stockton, California.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't even think they play.
Were they the Tigers?
Yeah, I think they were. I don't think they play football anymore.
No, they gave up football.
I remember they were always a good, season opener for you. I think Auburn opened the season with them one year.
They disbanded in 1995.
Yeah.
Christian Okoye played there, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's their biggest alum. When I was a kid, I can remember Auburn opening the season one year against Pacific.
Yeah. Exactly. I was at that game, I think.
I think it was like 55-0. I mean, it was a complete beatdown.
I think UAB either got a player from Pacific after they shut down, or they played Pacific in their last year. One of the two.
One of the two? Okay.
There was a tie to UAB back in my local TV days. Let's do 4 downs. It's brought to you by the great folks at Slice. I was by there last week and had it was last Thursday, in fact. Had a couple of wonderful spicy Hawaiian pizzas and a wedge salad. Those slice and salads are perfect this time of year. I'm already hating this giving up bread tomorrow.
Oh, you're doing it now.
Yeah, stop by, see the Bajaya Brothers. 4 locations, soon to be that 5th location coming to Edgewood this spring in the next couple of months. Local pizza, local ingredients from the Soul Pie, the Bajaya Special, the Hot Mama, the old school. You're going to absolutely love it. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
First down.
More pressure to get to a Super Bowl next year, Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson?
That is an excellent question.
Yeah, I'm going to say there's more pressure on Lamar Jackson because he wins the MVPs, and he has such really high bar regular seasons. But organization-wise, I trust the Ravens to sustain their winning longer than I do the Bills. So I think it's Lamar Jackson, but I could see the window closing quicker on Josh and the Bills.
I would agree. I think it's Lamar Jackson because of the multiple MVPs. They were the 1 seed this year. And I don't think you've got the I don't think we've got the narrative that Josh Allen can't get it done in the postseason. I think it's more of an organization thing.
That the Bills can't?
Yeah. It seems like it's more of a Lamar thing to the Ravens. So I think there is more pressure, although Lamar is younger than Josh Allen.
I was about to say, who's been in the league longer? Is it Allen?
It's really close, but Allen was starting quarterback longer at Wyoming.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's probably Lamar Jackson. Allen is...
So you're saying Lamar has been in the league longer?
No, I don't think so.
No, I think Josh Allen has.
Yeah, just by a year. It's really close.
I think it is tight,
one
but
way
I think
or the
Allen
other.
started longer.
But Lamar is younger.
Yeah, but I think Lamar has been in the league by 1 year longer.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Second down.
Wasn't he like the 2014 Heisman Trophy winner?
That sounds about right. No, 2015?
Josh Allen was drafted in 2018.
Yeah. 2015, he came back one more year, didn't win it. In 2016, got drafted in 2017.
They were both in the 2018 draft, so they've been in the league the exact same amount of time.
So one was drafted ahead of the other, yeah.
Second down.
Wow. Moving forward, more championships. I'll give you guys the combination of Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, and Caleb Williams. or Victor Wembanyama, who had a massive triple-double last night.
Yeah. 10 blocks, was it?
Yep.
Boy, I'd like to know where Caleb Williams gets drafted. I mean, it's probably going to be a bad team right now, though.
I think let's just say it's the Bears.
I'll take all the quarterbacks.
I think I will, too.
I, unfortunately, am going to take Wemby. San Antonio, they've done it with David Robinson, Tim Duncan. They've done it with both.
They're way off right now, though.
But it's much more easy to get a complimentary piece to Wembanyama, and as good as he's going to be in the next couple of years. I'd go stake on that. I'll take the Spurs and Wemby before those three quarterbacks.
So you got Wemby.
Yep.
And I've got Bryce
C.J.
Young.
Stroud, Bryce Young, and Caleb Williams.
See, because
you've got 10% of starting quarterbacks in the NFL.
Because
I'll take a stake on
what the Lions were this year, the Texans will be next year. The sexy pick.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to be loading up on the Texans.
Well, I think the Texans and the Browns, because the Browns, without Nick Chubb and without Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. But I am going to say, don't be surprised if the Texans take a small step backwards. It's just hard in the NFL. I mean, what they did this year was unheard of, basically. And if they take a small step backwards, maybe even still make the playoffs. It's not going to blow me away.
I'll go back to, I think it was Brock Heward who said, look, if DeMeco Ryans was still the defense coordinator, I would like San Francisco in the Super Bowl. I think DeMeco Ryans, his adjustments at halftime would have been much different than Steve Wilkes. There is no way Kansas City scores on their final 4 possessions with DeMeco as a defense coordinator. Yeah. I believe. I think he's that good of a coach.
DeMeco Ryans is fantastic. If he also lost Dre Greenlaw, though, it's hard. That's a hard adjustment to make.
I just say when you're built like Wemby is, injuries, I think, become a storyline in your career.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah. I'm going to go, I'm going to call my shot just for the read here, not for the stake bet. Caleb Williams is the first to win one. And I think he wins it for, I'm going to go the Washington Commanders.
Ooh. All right.
Third down.
Randy Moss. Clay brought him up earlier. 47 years old today. Happy birthday, Randy Moss. Randy Owen.
Better career?
Yeah.
I mean, Alabama was the top country group for a decade.
In the 80s.
I think 41 number ones they had. I know they released an album that was entitled 41. It was all their number one hits. That is a lot of number ones.
Yeah.
I think you can make an argument. Most people are going to say Jerry Rice, but just pure talent.
Yeah.
Randy Moss, best receiver of all time.
I'm going to tell you that my home's in Alabama. But Randy Moss is close enough to perfect for me, so I'm going to go Randy Moss.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful. It's just beautiful.
It's well done, Jeff.
Thank you.
Well done.
Fourth down.
Only I would have texted you that question earlier today.
I would have had more.
I was going to answer, but Rockstar's ready to roll on.
No, give me a roll on. I like that one.
Got commercial breaks. We got a lot of stuff to do. Jam-packed show.
I don't know why you're using Wimp's impersonation voice there.
Mike Krzyzewski, 77 today.
Oh, wow.
You better come strong with the second one.
Krzyzewski or Michael Douglas?
Oh, Krzyzewski. That's easy.
Yeah, Krzyzewski.
Oh, Krzyzewski. I mean, he's widely considered maybe the best coach ever to have done it in basketball. Michael Douglas is never considered the best actor to have ever done it.
No, but I mean, there was a point where he was considered one of the top 3 to 5 actors. There's a lot more actors in Hollywood than head coaches.
Oh, there is not.
Yeah, there are
380 basketball coaches.
Do you know how many actors are out there?
Not high-end actors.
Well, that's why it's that difficult to become a high-end actor.
A walk-on.
And by the way, he was a successful producer forever.
I won't even say that one out loud.
Yeah.
That's one of your better
different
lines.
Different ones, though.
Yeah, different
One of your better lines.
I mean, I would lean Krzyzewski, but I think we're undervaluing what Michael Douglas has been able to do.
Well, a lot of people are mentioning he had Catherine Zeta-Jones in her prime.
Yeah, so both were good
she
recruiters.
It's so weird, though. Like, even in her prime, I think she looks the same, but when she was like 32, she looked like she was 45.
Yeah, she's one of those ones where she could be 25 or she could be 40, but I never thought she was like stunning. She's a beautiful woman.
Well, I thought she was hottest in Traffic.
I would go.
Entrapment.
Was she in Traffic?
Great movie.
Entrapment. You're thinking the one where she
No, he might be talking about Traffic.
I was talking about Traffic.
Yeah, where she was Stephen Bowers, the cartel leading.
Entrapment is where she does a little bit.
Yeah, no.
I've never seen that one.
Yeah.
I'll go look it up tonight.
Good flick. Her and Sean Connery. It's a good movie.
But Traffic, when she walks across the street, they've got her house staked out, and she walks over and offers some drinks and food.
Lemonade.
Yeah.
Do you remember who was in the truck? I'll give you a $100 bill if you can name me the two actors that were in the.
Yeah, you could have pictures of them up there right now. I
Michael
couldn't name
Douglas
the
was
actor.
also in Traffic. He had a great daughter. She was very active.
He did.
Yeah, she had to go look her up one night. She didn't make it home for curfew.
That was a fantastic ensemble cast, really good film. But it was Don Cheadle and Luis Guzman.
Yeah. So if I'd have gone Don Cheadle, I would have won $100.
You would have had to go both.
Hey, did you guys get a little?
I'd have been impressed.
Did you guys get a little choked up at the Carl Weathers memorial in that commercial? That kind of choked me up a little bit. And I've never been a huge Carl Weathers.
I didn't see it.
You didn't see the commercial?
No.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they right at the end of the commercial where they do the Carl Weathers remembrance. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I did. I do this with my wife. I don't know why I do this to her, but I was like, as soon as it was over with, I was like, he just passed away. And she's like, I know.
That's what those years meant?
Yeah,
hey,
he's not retiring.
So we were at that brewery on Saturday, and after Auburn, Florida, they turned it to Comedy Central, and that terrible, you guys were both there.
Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore was on. And Dunaway was like, it's probably a Carl Weathers marathon. I'm like, he's never done another comedy.
I mean, you got to show Rocky next, right?
I mean, Action Jackson, man.
But country music television doesn't show country music.
Yeah, but I think Comedy Central is pretty consistent with comedies, right?
They're not going to do some Action Jackson. It's too much for them.
Yeah, at Lunsford I did. It is an awful movie.
I'm not a big Happy Gilmore guy either, Lunsford.
Yeah.
But anything Adam Sandler
don't
does
think
is
it holds
terrible.
up. I don't think it holds up. It does hold up?
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
Oh, crazy.
It made
It's one of his better ones. I'll give him that. Like, it was a good film coming from Adam
It made a
Sandler.
mockery out of the sport of golf. I hated it.
Awful.
No, it's classic.
It would have been perfect if the backdrop was waste management.
Phoenix Open.
I love when Jordan Spieth gets upset, though.
Oh, there were a lot of golfers.
Yeah, there were a lot of them. It crossed a line this year, clearly.
There's some story, I didn't read it because it was a golf story after the fact.
I agree. Like, I've never understood why golfers have to have complete quiet.
They don't. They just don't need, it can be loud. I just don't need, like, a gun going off or somebody yelling in my backswing.
No, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Like this is next level. Like, I agree. This is too much.
Yeah.
Again, I thought it was too much when I was there 16 years ago, and it wasn't even close to what we saw this past weekend with 500,000 people trying to get out
You
there.
got guys saying they may not come back now.
Yeah,
That's how bad it's gotten.
and that's what I was going to bring up to you yesterday is that I wouldn't play in it now, the way they're acting. And here's what's happening, Brown. You have people with these things, and they're shooting their buddies acting like crap and trying to get these guys pissed off so they can get it on their Instagram or their Snapchat or TikTok or whatever they're doing. Because every one of those you could hear, well, you need to grow up. You hear them talking back, trying to get the guys
you
reacting.
hear the laughing in the background.
And they're yelling at, not just on 16, they're yelling at different places on the course and guys in their backswing and stuff.
I think everybody tried to bring their, I don't want to call it an A game. I don't know what it was, but we're going to take it to another level this weekend.
Yeah, well, as Brown pointed out on Saturday, the ticket takers decided to stop taking tickets, and they all left.
And that was
then
the
it
problem.
became anyone could get in.
Yeah.
And then there were so many people in the bar areas that they started at some point just giving out free drinks in VIP areas and not even checking people if they got a VIP pass. And about 1 o'clock course time, they shut down alcohol.
Yeah, they were having so many incidents.
I had a buddy, Scott Banks, reached out this weekend. We need to go next year. And I was like, I know we don't. I
Yeah.
mean, can you it was terrible 16 years ago.
I've
I
always
can't
said
even
it's a
imagine that.
bucket list, and I had an invite to that round, the Saturday round on 16, a suite this year, and I did not take it. I don't know if I'm going to.
Can you imagine if you and your buddy had gotten out there with a suite pass and not been able to get into your suite because so many people who didn't have passes were in your suite?
Yeah, how pissed would you be?
You'd be really pissed
Those are
off.
expensive.
They are expensive. All right, that's our 4 downs today, brought to you by our friends at Slice. Tell us about Slice.
Yeah, again, get a slice and a salad today at one of those 4 locations, the original in Lakeview, Vestavia, Montevallo, Crestline Park. Stop and see the Bajalia Brothers. Tell them the next round sent you. Local pizza, local ingredients, slicebirmingham.com.
And I just got a text when I was talking earlier about giving up alcohol and bread for 40 days of Lent coming up, and Leslie and her team over at Way to Wellness said, all right, back on the plan. Get after it, Dunaway. So here's my little snack coming up here, my Way to Wellness bar. No bread in this thing right here. Getting ready to attack it and go after it. Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. All these great snack bars can sort of fill you up in between meals. for my plan, I'd eat my own lunch, my own dinner. They would prefer if I didn't eat 3 hot dogs at 8 o'clock at night. Not really part of the plan, but you eat what you want. You maintain it or get back to the weight loss plan that they have for you. Everything is designed specifically for you. No cookie cutter plan. We've all been there before. That's Leslie talking to Brownie and all of us in the room there. There's all your choices on snacks and foods that you want. Every plan's different. Go check them out. It's Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. The website is aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
Legacy Credit Union has the ultimate game changer for your finances. With Engaged Checking, you can earn 3% APY on balances up to $15,000. You heard correctly, 3% APY. But it's not just about scoring with high yields. With Engaged Checking, you can get paid up to 2 days early. That means your paycheck, Social Security, tax refund, you name it, you get it early. So stop sitting on the sidelines and get in the game with Engaged Checking. Sign up today at LegacyCreditUnion.com or visit any 9 Greater Birmingham area branches. APY is annual percentage yield. Terms and conditions may apply. See Credit Union for details. Federally insured by the NCUA.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
You want to look great while supporting your favorite show? You know the place to go is the official Next Round store at nextround.store. Yes, there are .store domains, and we have one. From shirts to hoodies to hats and all kinds of fun stuff, you can rep the Next Round anywhere you go. At the beach, Next Round hats to block out that sun. Up north in the winter, get you a comfy Next Round hoodie. Just need something to put your $20 beer in at a game? Get you a Next Round koozie and throw that thing in your pocket. You never know what stuff Jim's going to make me put in there next. Check it out. It's the Next Round store at nextround.store.
Fire damage to your home or business is something you never want to consider. Ryan Brown here from The Next Round. But in the horrible event it happens, Dry Tech is here to help. They respond quickly and will reply to you within 20 minutes when you call 205-637-0143. They're working for you, the customer, not the insurance company. They've got 5 crews ready to go 24/7. Don't call the insurance company first. Call Dry Tech. Just remember this website, mydrytech.com. That is mydrytech.com.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
The Next Round store is live and loaded. Check out the latest logo t-shirts and hoodies. Get your favorite team colors, the Next Round flag shirt, or grab the popular Y'all Can Have the Rest t-shirts. Go to nextround.store. That's nextround.store.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on The Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at The Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
Back with you on The Next Round as we continue on. LTD and B with you here today. By the way, before LT tells us about Odie's, what a Sunday Usher had. Did the halftime show. I enjoyed it. Some people didn't. It's the world we live in. And then afterwards, he went and married his longtime girlfriend on Sunday. He did the Super Bowl halftime show and got married in Vegas on Sunday.
Did she see the piece with Alicia Keys? She might have been a little worried.
Well, Usher used to have a bit of an addiction.
Did he?
Yeah, he had an addiction with some females and lost of relationships.
So that's the second time in 5 years we've seen said artist skin off at the Super Bowl halftime show, right?
Yeah. And I mean, Usher's built to do it, by the way.
I mean,
how old is Usher?
If I had that body, I'd do the show every day in here without a shirt.
Usher's probably
41?
45.
45? Yeah.
Oh, I had him at 50. He's that young still?
I bet he's 45.
He has a baby face.
He does have a baby face.
Yeah.
45. Lance, of course, spot on.
Nailed it. 45.
Yeah.
It was so funny. I brought this up to Brownie off the show yesterday, LT, that doesn't Mercedes-Benz have a Super Bowl coming up soon?
In Atlanta?
Yeah.
I don't know. I know we're in New Orleans next year.
Yeah, I think they've already awarded one to Atlanta coming up soon. Or at least they have one planned because it's a new stadium. They haven't hosted one yet.
And how long is the contract with Jay-Z for do the halftime to book the entertainment?
Oh, does he book it? I did not know that.
I think he's in charge of the...
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just know this, that in Atlanta, that should have been the Atlanta halftime show, right? With Usher and Ludacris.
Well, they'll get like Outkast back together to try to get
Well, no, they got Andre 3000. Big Boy came out, but that was Adam Levine. It would have made more sense. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Jermaine Dupri.
In Atlanta, this would have been a great Atlanta halftime show with Las Vegas. There were so many artists that they could have brought to Las Vegas to do this.
Wayne
Atlanta. It was Maroon 5, but there's just a whole, hip-hop scene in Atlanta that would have made that halftime show really, really good.
The only ones that have been announced are New Orleans next year, Levi's Stadium. I don't know why they're going there. It's a dump of a stadium. And Super Bowl 60. And then Super Bowl 61 is SoFi in California. So California going to get a lot of Super Bowls coming up here.
SoFi is going to be on a quick rotation. So nothing in Atlanta yet. So have we held one at Mercedes-Benz since it's open? Maybe we have.
Yeah, Lance was at it.
Yeah, that's
Super
right.
Bowl 53.
Okay, so we've already done it there. I knew when you get a new stadium, they usually try to roll one to you pretty quick. All right, part of the show being brought to you by Odie's LT.
Odie's Tavern tomorrow night. Odie's Team Trivia. We do that every Wednesday at the Crestline location, the original. Newest location in Edgewood, right there in Homewood, the corner of Oxmoor and Broadway. Stop in, see Will Haver and that great staff. Enjoy incredible food from Rodney Davis the last 3+ decades. Award-winning wings, delicious burgers, great sandwiches and salads. Of course, they've got chili on a chilly day like this. Stop in one of those two great locations, Odie's Tavern, Crestline, and now Homewood.
Can I make a confession?
Yes.
When they first
Is this Usher?
This is Usher, yes. When they first showed Jermaine Dupri, I thought CeeLo Green had lost a ton of weight. Like, I was like, oh my God, CeeLo Green.
Oh, okay, great outfit too.
I mean, he was dressed a little bit like CeeLo Green.
It's funny when HER walked out, playing guitar. I think I was the only person, and it took me a minute to figure out who that was.
Me too.
Who were people saying that she was?
Oh, I don't know. I was at home with
Well,
Maggie.
you weren't there?
I looked at Maggie and I was like, oh, it's her. And she was like, who? And I was like, we're not going to do this. It's H period, E period.
That's the only reason I knew it was an Nationwide commercial.
Yeah. So it was, she's really good on the guitar.
Was she really playing it?
I mean,
I don't think so.
Yeah, you don't think so?
I
No.
think that was pre-recorded. She could probably shred, but that was not live.
Nate Oates was at the quarterback club yesterday. Brown's about to make a point about the Indiana State game for Alabama, where Indiana State is now. But here's Nate Oates getting asked about where his team is right now versus where people thought they would be.
You get to this point in the season, you guys have been through so much change, roster, coaches. Is it what you thought it would be at this point in the season to deal with everything?
I mean, I was hoping we'd have gotten a few more quality wins in the non-conference. I think we're coming around. Our defense isn't where it needs to be. Offensively, we're probably, as good or a little better than I thought we were going to be. Defensively, we got better. But I expected to be competing for a championship, which we're competing for the championship with 7 games left. So yeah, in that regards, we're where I expected to be.
Indiana State tonight plays Illinois State. I think it is on the road, Jim. I don't know if you can confirm that for me.
I will check that out for you.
No, Indiana State's at home.
Are they at home? Okay,
yeah, I think so because there's 17.5 point favorites.
And I was about to look up what their point spread is. Indiana State.
It's in Terre Haute.
It's in Terre Haute, Indiana. Indiana State, by net rankings, understand me when I say this, by net rankings, I believe is Alabama's second best win this year. Only behind the home win to Auburn.
Somebody, was it Nate Oates on the show, brought up Indiana State?
And he brought up what I'm about to mention is the tightrope that they've got to walk. They can't really have an off night for Alabama because Indiana State is a quad 1 win for Alabama. And Nate, when he was last on the show, I think they had played the night before, and he's like, I watched them because we want them to keep winning, obviously.
I don't think they're going to have an off night.
Well, yeah, you would hope not, but they're 22nd in the net right now. For it to remain a quad 1 win, they've got to stay in the top 25. So it's a precarious position. You just heard Stephen Pearl talk about how far, was it Kansas? He talked about how far they fell after getting blasted. And, I mean, the net can be a tricky thing. Teams fall further than you would think sometimes. They don't fall at all when you think they would fall. They play Illinois State tonight, who's 218 in the net. A loss to them, and again, Lance, that would be a very surprising loss, obviously, would hurt Alabama. I mean, that's one of those where when you start talking net, and it could be the difference, you never know, in Alabama being a 3-seed or a 4-seed, Alabama being a 2-seed or a 3-seed. You know, a game like that for Indiana State, they're just on that precarious line right there where they're 22nd in the net. Alabama needs them to stay there.
Yeah,
improve.
I don't see them losing another game. They've lost one in conference to Drake, who's a pretty good team.
They are.
They avenged that loss after losing. I don't see another loss for the Sycamores in the regular season.
Do you have their schedule pulled up?
Yeah,
Horizon.
Yeah, Illinois State, Southern Illinois, who is got 8 and 6 in the league. They play Valpo, who is dead last in the league. They play UIC, University of Illinois Chicago, which is near the bottom in the league. They play Evansville, which is near the bottom of the league, and they play Murray State, which surprisingly is in the middle of the pack. So they don't play Drake again. They don't play Bradley again. Their toughest competitions against fourth-place Southern Illinois on the road.
Yeah, and they'll still probably be an 8 or 9 point favorite in that game. So they're going to be double digits more so in all their games.
And Southern Illinois right now, I said the Horizon there in the Missouri Valley, excuse me, but Southern Illinois is 109 in the net right now. That's their toughest remaining game, and you said that's at home, right? So
which one? Southern Illinois? It's on the road.
It's on the road. Well, I mean, that's not even a quad 1 game for them. But Drake and Bradley, should they get them in the tournament, could potentially be quad 1s. Even for them, they are both outside the top 50 right now in the net. So in a conference tournament, they would need to be in the top 50. So Indiana State for Alabama really does not need to trip up the remainder of this season because it is a quad 1 win and one of Alabama's better wins.
All right, a little KenPom metrics there from Brownie as we approach the top of the hour. When we come back, interesting new proposal out from Charlie Baker now that he's gone back and talked with the commissioners of the SEC and the Big Ten. We will talk about what that new part of his proposal is. Set the stage a little bit more for Auburn and South Carolina coming up. You'll hear from South Carolina coach Lamont Paris. And a little NFL. Are the 49ers poised to come back and contend for a Super Bowl, or is there a potential to fall off? We'll talk about that in the next segment. All right here on TNR, being brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill LT.
205-229-2090. Make sure that HVAC unit ready to keep up with the changing weather. Adam, Chad, Andrew, tell them the next round sent you. Hard to stop a train since 1954. Trust the name. Birmingham is trusted for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
Things fall apart. There's even a book about it, but that doesn't mean you have to break the bank to fix them. Ryan Brown here for the next round. Our friends at Mortgage Right have a new renovation option that will make repairs and other home improvements easy. If you've recently purchased a home and find yourself short on cash, or you're looking to buy a fixer-upper, Mortgage Right's renovation loan program can help you spruce up your space. Repairs can be made to your roof, plumbing, flooring, and more with the help of top-notch mortgage professionals. So get your fix by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR. And MLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. Fire damage to your home or business is something you never want to consider. Ryan Brown here from the next round. But in the horrible event it happens, Dry Tech is here to help. They respond quickly and will reply to you within 20 minutes when you call 205-637-0143. They're working for you, the customer, not the insurance company. They've got 5 crews ready to go 24/7. Don't call the insurance company first. Call Dry Tech. Just remember this website, mydrytech.com. That is mydrytech.com.
There are so many things I love about Walk-Ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine, prepared fresh, daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And of course, they've got 2 great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-Ons is also a great place for happy hour, 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 and Hoover with Walk-Ons.
The next round is so much more than the show you get from 9 to 1 each day. So make sure to head to our official YouTube channel at Next Round Live and subscribe to get all of our latest content. We, of course, have plenty of specialty content and shorts based all around the sports in the heart of the SEC. But we also talk pro sports, gambling, lifestyle and entertainment, and so much more. It's the Next Round YouTube channel where you never know what you're going to find next. Subscribe now to see the latest content and get notifications when we go live. That's at Next Round Live on YouTube.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Are you ready for a winning season in your finances? Legacy Credit Union is bringing you a slam dunk deal on their credit cards. Apply for their balance transfer and pay 0 balance transfer fees. That's right, there is no balance transfer fees, and they're offering a jaw-dropping 2.99% APR for the first 6 months. Whether you're looking to clear the cord of those holiday expenses or just wanting to streamline your finances, apply online today, LegacyCreditUnion.com. Annual percentage rate, terms and conditions may apply. See Credit Union for details. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Before we jump back into a little football discussion, the bigger overall picture of college athletics being discussed everywhere from courtrooms to congressional hearings to eventually an SEC Big Ten summit. It looks like 2 things are inevitable in the very near future. And Ross Dellinger has a very interesting story out with Yahoo Sports today. He believes that the college football playoff revenue distribution, the governance, and even the format is going to change, and that the Big Ten and the SEC are going to be leading the way in that change. They expect us to be 5+7, maybe as early as this year. The 5 automatics and 7, only allowing one group of 5 champion and not the 6-6, which it is now. Hasn't been decided yet. I think there's a big meeting still to come this month. But from that story, the biggest takeaway is that the NCAA, Charlie Baker, I believe is his name, the president right now, he laid out that possible division of the Division I again, the top schools and the lower schools. He has now spoken to the SEC and the Big Ten commissioner. He's not releasing any new plan or anything, but he's had a chance now. The first time he did it, he had not talked to the conference commissioners.
Yeah.
Now he's gotten their feedback, and he says he's reevaluating his plan and will have something in the near future. I would imagine it will come after the SEC and the Big Ten has gotten together. But one thing I read in that story is the NCAA's biggest moneymaker, the NCAA tournament, is going to expand again from 68. It's going to go up. And I don't think we're all happy about that, but it's going to go up again.
Yeah, we'll get used to it. I mean, the play-ins are the worst. I mean, I would almost rather it go to 128 and just play a completely...
Another weekend.
Yeah, so you got to win 7 games to win a championship. I just hate the play-ins. There was something about that. I thought 64 was a perfect number, but you hear guys like Andy Kennedy that come on and they want to expand it. And I get why they want to expand it. But you talk about pressure ramping up. To me, if you're at a program like Alabama or Auburn and you're not going to the tournament every year, it's a disappointment.
Right. You should be in the tournament.
You're talking about right now with 68.
With 68.
Yeah.
This thing goes to, let's just call it 128, and you don't go to the tournament, guys are going to get fired immediately.
Yeah. I agree.
What do you hate about the play-in? Because I'm not a huge fan of it.
You know what I hate about it?
Okay.
And I'll be totally honest with you. You know what I hate about it?
What?
Because it F's up my bracket where... those games aren't part of the bracket that I have to pick.
Yeah.
And I want to go ahead and do my bracket, not necessarily on Selection Sunday, but I like to have it done before the games start. And those games start now, on Tuesday? So you do Tuesday night, Wednesday night play-in games, and they're not part of my bracket. So since I'm not filling out who the winners are, then I don't really think it's part. I mean, I know it's part of the tournament. I'm not like you. I think it's part of the tournament, but it's not in my bracket. So I have little interest in the game. If they go to what LT is talking about and just add another weekend to where it's part of my bracket fill out, I will accept that a lot better. It's crazy to say this. I would accept 100 and something teams better than I would 68 because I would be able to get Selection Sunday and then fill out my bracket, even if it's a whole nother round or 2 rounds. At least I'm filling my bracket out. My enjoyment of filling out my bracket is that much that I hate to play in games.
You love that bracket. I got you.
Look, and I just don't think, like, I'm kind of in between. Like, I know you say they're not in the tournament. I just don't think it's fair because they don't get the real experience.
Which is why I've always said I don't think they feel like they're in the tournament.
Like, obviously, if you win on that Tuesday night, then you actually get the experience. But if you lose that Tuesday night, you don't. Like, being able to go to whatever site it is and stay in that hotel room and have all the hype for the entire week, I just think it makes more sense. There's just something hollow about playing those Tuesday night games.
So let me ask you this, and no offense to the city of Dayton, I know you've gone to war with them in the past.
Yeah, almost went to the games there. COVID killed that. That was my bracket payoff. If you guys remember, I was going to have to dress up as Burt Reynolds and
go to Dayton and drive the Trans Am.
Like that was going to be about 10 states in 48 hours or whatever, and I was going to end up in Dayton and try to get on TV as the payoff.
But COVID killed that.
It did.
I would tell you, if they maybe sent to the sites that we're going to play the Thursday and Friday games at and have the games played Tuesday, Wednesday at those sites and expand that way to have a big chunk of buys.
Well, I think that's what they'll do when the tournament expands, don't you?
And we get it out of Dayton and you go to the sites. Like last year, there would have been a group of teams that would have played. Was ours a Thursday or Friday? It was Thursday, right? Thursday, Saturday?
Yeah, we were Thursday, Saturday.
Yeah, so we would have had games that would have been on Tuesday. And those games that were played Tuesday in Birmingham would have fed into bye teams on Thursday and then the Saturday games. And the Wednesday teams would feed into the Friday, into the Sunday. And we get out of the neutral site in Dayton and go ahead and get to the locations and expand that way. I think I would like that a little bit better.
Well, I think the problem is...
So you guys think the number will be 128?
Feels like...
I just don't want more play-ins. I don't want the
don't
core
want
64 and then... We've got 15, 16 other. I mean, I want an even number.
I'm old enough to remember buys.
I don't want buys. That's what I do not want.
Yeah. I'm old enough to remember buys. I think, and you UAB fans who are older can help me out here. I think the year UAB went to their first tournament, I feel like it was in Tuscaloosa. It was on campus in Tuscaloosa. And I feel like UAB beat Western Kentucky, and then they beat Kentucky in back-to-back games, and Kentucky had the bye. And I may be wrong on that, but I think it was something like that.
Yeah.
They won a first-round game and then beat a team that had a bye, if I remember correctly.
But some of this is just nostalgia as well. But, you get every game now, but it was just more exciting when you were watching a game and that score kept flashing across the bottom that Princeton is leading Georgetown.
Yeah.
And you were just the anticipation of them saying, okay, we're going to take you away from this game and take you out to Princeton, Georgetown. There's 2.5 minutes left. I mean, that anticipation was amazing.
Okay, reset that again for those that, we got so many people who are so young that watch us that do not remember this, but there was a time that the games were not on TNT, were not on True TV. It was CBS only, over the air or on your cable.
And you didn't know which games you were getting.
Yeah, most of it was regional interest. So like Maryland could be playing Tennessee. We're probably going to get that game in the South.
That's right. And if there was a state team, you got that on CBS 42 in Birmingham or whatever. But once your game was going, they would have, what were they called, look-ins?
They would do a look-in. Rockstar used to always do it. It was Greg Gumbel.
We're going to go into Chicago right now where Loyola Marymount is really playing good.
Yeah. And like if you would get a upset brewing, you might have a 30-point game on your hands that you're watching, Tennessee and Maryland. And you were like, God, I wish they'd take us out of that Georgetown. Princeton's up last media timeout. They're up on Georgetown.
Yeah. But if it did get big enough, they would take you away from that game.
That's right. Yep.
But no matter how close your game was, if it was early, they would stagger the start times. No matter how early your game started. It could be 10 minutes to go in the half, but if they had a fantastic finish going on at a different regional, you would lose your game and go to that regional.
But you didn't
see the
care
ending.
because it was such an amazing ending, and it would create that anticipation of, are we going to get to see that ending? And then you'd get the last 2 minutes.
And that's
as a kid, that was before Maryland, Baltimore County had beaten Virginia.
Right.
So obviously, there was no 16-1 ever, and almost every year there was a 16 that would, or maybe every other year, 16 would scare a 1. And they'd be leading the whole game until CBS took you out there, and you would have the awkward pause of the announcers to let all the and then the announcer would say, okay, we welcome those of you that were watching Maryland and Tennessee, and inevitably that graphic pops up. Yep. No 16's ever beaten a 1, and then Georgetown goes on like a 12-0 run to end the game.
But it is still staggered to where the games are ending at different
but you
times.
just control what you watch.
But you control it in your own
Which
head.
is a better
know
way.
what you
I
watch.
know.
Yeah, look, I love the accessibility
I
that
do
we have
too.
the 4 channels and you can watch everything now. But there was something special about that back in the day. And it did seem like before Maryland, Baltimore County beat Virginia that we were never going to have a 16-1, and then we had it again last year with Fairleigh Dickinson over Purdue.
It just never looked like what I thought it would look like when it would happen. I really thought when it happened, the 16 would hit a shot at the horn or the 1 would miss a 3 at the buzzer.
Yeah.
It was a blowout, really, the first time it ever happened. And that was the shocking thing about it, is I never thought it would look like that.
No, I remember getting baited in at halftime. I was like, this Virginia team, I mean, they're going to come back and make a run.
Of course they are, yeah.
And they just got the hell beat out of them.
Who are the ones that have lost? Purdue and Virginia?
That's it.
Purdue last year.
Purdue last year.
Yeah, Purdue
with
and
Zach
Virginia,
Edey.
the only two, yeah.
Yeah.
But I can remember Coppin State beating South Carolina in a 2-15 game. Wasn't it Coppin State over South Carolina?
Yeah.
And that was only like the second or third time a 2 had beaten a 15.
Yeah, Santa Clara beat, I know Richmond beat Syracuse. Santa Clara beat Arizona.
Somebody beat Michigan State one year because they were a 2 seed.
Middle Tennessee State beat Michigan State when you had them to win the national championship.
But this was Coppin State over South Carolina, I think was back in the mid-'90s, and very rarely hit a 2 beating a 15 at that point.
Yeah.
And the 16 over the 1 just seemed like something you would never get.
Ross Dellinger with the story, if you want to hear how the NCAA, the SEC, Big Ten, and the ACC and Big 12, a lot of the stories focused on how the ACC and Big 12 commissioners reacted when Greg Sankey announced that the Big Ten and the SEC were going to have that summit together and left them out. The Big 12 talking about they're the best basketball conference in the country. And, they are right now. But now think about who they're adding next year, Brown. They're adding Arizona, who's 4th in the Ken Pom right now. They're adding also Arizona State, who's not bad. Utah, who's really good, is coming in. And then who's the other one that's coming in? Colorado, who's really good. In basketball this year. So they're actually adding 4 more good basketball programs into the already great Big 12. That is a dynamic basketball conference.
Yeah, Colorado's 37th in the KenPom, to your point. Now they're 16-8 in the Pac-12, but they're 37th in the KenPom.
Yep. And then their new teams, Houston and BYU, are both in the top 12 right now that came in this past year.
It's a great basketball conference already, and you're right. I think adding Arizona, that's a perennial top 10 team right now.
Yeah, and what are they going to get this year, 10 or 11?
They deserve it.
The Big 12?
Yeah.
Projected 9 last week.
Cincinnati, Kansas State, Texas, all right there on the bubble.
Yeah, I'm looking at KenPom right now.
I don't think Texas is on the bubble. I think Texas is 25, Oklahoma's 24 in the KenPom. I think Texas is in.
And if you want to look at the net, just real quick, in the Big 12, you got Houston 1, BYU 8, Iowa State 9, Kansas 12, Baylor 14, Oklahoma 27. That's all locks right there. I'm up to 6.
Your locks through the 30s.
Yeah, where is TCU?
Hang on. Cincinnati's 32.
Still in.
Texas Tech 36, and a win over Kansas last night is going to help. TCU is 37. Texas is 38. If you got TCU and Texas in.
Yep.
Now it gets tricky. Central Florida is 65th.
No, they're out.
Yeah, I think they're out. So you stop right there.
Texas is the line right now.
So you got 10.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah.
10. 9 and 10 is the number there for the Big 12. All right, back to football after I tell you about our friends at Legacy, LegacyCreditUnion.com, LegacyCreditUnion.com to get the details on how you can transfer your high interest balance credit card over to a low annual percentage rate with the Legacy credit card. No balance transfer fees, no annual fee, and a 2.99% annual percentage rate for all balance transfers for the first 6 months. Now, that's a great opportunity for you to be able to pay off without cracking up a lot more interest. And your new purchase, and for every time after the 6 months, the credit card rate's as low as 8.90% APR. Shop it around. You're going to find out this Legacy card is unbelievable. APR is, of course, annual percentage rate. Terms and conditions may apply. See the credit union for details. 9 local branches here in the Birmingham area, federally insured by the NCUA. It's Legacy, LegacyCreditUnion.com. All right, Mike Zimmer's the new DC of the Cowboys. I think it's a good hire. He was there in 2000, really good defensive mind.
Yeah, when we were talking about, I think it was 3 or 4 candidates it was down to, I thought because of the familiarity between Zimmer and Jerry Jones, he would ultimately be that guy. And you go back, you look at Zimmer, his 8 years as head coach at Minnesota, he had some good years. If he doesn't have Forgot the Georgia kicker, Blair, the kid that missed like a 25-yard field goal against Seattle in like the freezing cold when Minnesota was playing outdoors before they got the new
wasn't Rodrigo, right?
New facility.
No.
Blair Walsh.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but he misses that chippy. They go a little bit deeper. I mean, he had a really good record as Minnesota's head coach, and how they blew that NFC Championship game against Philadelphia. I mean, they got walked off the field with Nick Foles, but anyway, he's a really good defense coordinator, and I think he was undersold a little bit as a head coach at Minnesota.
Bleacher Report earlier today on how the quarterback carousel is going to end up. They say Baker Mayfield stays with Tampa. They think Denver is just financially tied to Russell Wilson. They will not be able to get rid of him.
I would agree.
They believe Chicago will trade out of the 1 spot, Bleacher Report does, but get the 2 spot and take Drake May. That Caleb Williams will go 1 overall, and that Chicago will get rid of Justin Fields, take Drake May, and get some valuable things for trading out of the 1 spot.
I would feel better about taking Jaden Daniels. I don't know about you guys. I think Jaden Daniels is a better player.
Well, I worry about Drake May at the next level, but he is being compared, including Orlovsky on our show, to Big Ben Roethlisberger. And if you're half the quarterback Big Ben is, that's a pretty good draft pick. They say Justin Fields ends up with Las Vegas, the Raiders.
Interesting.
And they say Kirk Cousins ends up in Atlanta.
Well, that's what I was going to bring up. Kirk Cousins, to me, is that seasoned vet coming off the injury that he really doesn't have that destination right now. And that is a guy that, I got asked last week, would you rather have Kirk Cousins or Dak Prescott? And I went, Dak Prescott. And I know the question was asked because Dak doesn't have a lot of success in the postseason. Well, Kirk Cousins really hasn't had success in the postseason, but in the regular season, Kirk Cousins is a better than advertised quarterback. And I think with Atlanta, that makes them the best team in the South.
With all those parts, man.
Scott, Kirk Cousins as your quarterback would do what for you? Scott never likes any of them. We can't.
No. I'd be all in.
Take the time to punch the button. I want to see your face as you answer this.
Yes.
Scott also punches the buttons.
I would love to have Justin Fields. I think that guy has had no weapons with the Bears. I think he would have them in Atlanta. I think he'd be great.
Yeah,
Kirk Cousins doesn't really excite me.
Would you give up
Desmond Ritter
the number 8 overall for Justin Fields?
Yeah,
would you give up the number 8 overall and Kyle Pitts
for
Justin Fields?
No.
All you got to do is give up 8. If you give up 8, you're getting him.
You can get Justin Fields.
You think so?
For a top 10 pick.
I think Chicago would stay at 1.
That's Chicago saying we took Justin Fields with the top 10 pick and obviously got it wrong, and we can get a top 10 pick back out of it.
Yeah, so they would still get 1 and 8 and give up Fields. Yeah, they would do that.
Okay, they keep their 1.
Yeah.
Okay. No, because Fields has already been drafted. Okay.
Now I like,
and I told you guys I would give up 19 with the Rams for Fields. I think Fields is going to be good. I agree with Scott.
I will say with Scott, I agree with him, and you're saying the same thing. Cousins or Fields, I'd rather have Fields.
Yeah,
Cousins is a good NFL quarterback.
Yeah, but
solid NFL
Cousins
quarterback.
probably has a year or 2 left. He's kind of in that Matt Stafford mold.
Yeah, he's a win now guy.
Right. Yeah, like if you were the Jets and if you would have had Cousins this past year, the Jets season is completely different.
Yeah.
Oh wow, Daniel, Chicago would then have 1, 8, and 9.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't want that though. I've always said that as a fan.
Oh,
that sounds great, but what are the percentages of top 10 players that make it?
I would just go quarterback, receiver.
Right. Yeah, but my point is, if you draft a guy in the top 10, you expect them to be a Hall of Famer, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what percentage of top 10 draft picks do you think become Hall of Famers annually?
Well, from last year's draft, I'd say 100%. Because just look at C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson.
No, I would think that you talking about the 32?
No, of top 10 picks
top 10
every
picks.
year, how many do you think become eventual Hall of Famers?
Probably 1. Probably 10%.
So now I've got 3 picks.
Yeah, but I don't necessarily need Hall of Famers. I need Super Bowls, 1, 8, and 9, and I'm able to drive quarterback and 2 receivers.
How many top 10 picks do you think just pan out as top 10 picks?
I would say 50%.
50%. So now I've got 3 picks.
But if I've got 2, if I got 1 Hall of Famer in the 3 and 2 that really pan out, it's worth it.
But I'm saying take one of those first-round picks and trade it for parts or other picks. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't want to draft 3 times in the top 10.
I do, and I want to get it right.
Well, that's the problem. You can't get it right.
Houston did last year with C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson.
It is by far and away the exception to the rule.
I'd take my shot. One other thing before trash, I wanted to get to this. San Francisco loses on Sunday. Only the 2017 Patriots have come back to win a Super Bowl the very next year after losing the Super Bowl since 1971. So Patriots did it. Nobody else from 1971. One Patriots team did that. But San Francisco is your favorite. Here's the problem. I didn't know this until I saw it on ESPN yesterday. They are already $44 million over the salary cap.
Oh, yeah.
9 players at this moment in time. They have 9 players that's going to make $212 million next year. That leaves between $28 and $33 million for 44 other players.
Good luck. And they're still paying some of Garoppolo too, right?
They are paying a little bit of Garoppolo. They're going to have to restructure a lot of different contracts. They'll keep the majority of these guys around. I just know the window is really closing. I mean, the good news for San Francisco is they were your favorite to win the Super Bowl this year. Now it is flipped. Kansas City is the favorite to three-peat for the first time since 1967.
The only way they can pull this off, though, is that their starting quarterback is on a Mr. Irrelevant contract.
$1 million next year.
$1 million. You cannot pull this off if you've got a quarterback that you're paying anything.
You're right, but when you look at the NFC, like, you know, we do that draft where we pick teams, kind of the Calcutta, and I had the second overall pick, and I took Philadelphia because I thought they had the easiest path in the NFC to the Super Bowl. Well, when you look at it, San Fran seems to be that team in the NFC coming back next year because there's not a lot of elite quarterback play in the NFC. Green Bay is going to be much better. They're going to continue to get better. Dallas is going to be in the mix. Philadelphia will be in the mix.
Detroit?
But San
Do you expect
Francisco,
Detroit to go back?
Yeah, Detroit will be in the mix.
Yeah.
I think the Rams will be in the mix. But your best team coming back in the NFC is San Francisco.
And I'll bring it up because you do it all the time, but I'll bring it up for you. The Rams have already done their restructuring after the Super Bowl, and they've hit some home runs on some young talent. They've already gone young. Tampa Bay hasn't done that yet. We sort of pushed it down the road another year to keep all the receivers. We're going to lose Mike Evans, and we still have to get rid of some older players, some bigger contracts.
Yeah, the Rams' second youngest team in the league.
Yeah, the Rams have already gone young and did that. The 49ers, this was their all-in to win the Super Bowl this year. They're about to have to do a masterful job of moving some money around for them to stay a contender.
Well, they've already gotten lucky in the fact that they completely whiffed on basically 2 quarterbacks, Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, I think it kind of balances out. I mean, cap-wise, you struck out on Garoppolo, but draft-wise, you struck out on Trey Lance, but you get Mr. Irrelevant, so it almost kind of balances out.
That's what I'm saying, but that's the lucky part of it.
Yeah,
Who else drafts a guy the very last pick that can take them to a Super Bowl?
Why this year was
Almost
different
nobody.
was because the Panthers were paying so much of Christian McCaffrey's contract, and that changes. That changes next year. All right, our friends at the University of Montevallo bringing you the show, and also Champy's Chicken. Let me tell you about Champy's first. Right now at Champy's Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster, you can get a wonderful lunch. That's Southern fried chicken, brined overnight and cooked to order. There you see Sterling and the crew there. Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. If you tried tamales earlier in life, didn't like them, they were probably the bland, old-fashioned tamales. The new state-of-the-art tamale is the Mississippi Delta tamale, and you get it right there with Sterling. Champy's Chicken, champyschicken.com. It's on 119 in Alabaster. You go right past it when you're on your way to the University of Montevallo as well. And at Montevallo, let me tell you about those great folks. At the University of Montevallo, wonderful place for your son or daughter to call school, a home for school 4 or 5 years once they leave high school. So if you're a junior or senior, a parent of those high school kids, and you're starting to look now at where they're going to tour for colleges, put Montevallo on your radar. Just go to their website to get more details, montevallo.edu, montevallo.edu. Wonderful academics. New buildings going up all the time, including a multi-million-dollar new theater and music department and 23 NCAA Division II fully funded scholarship sports. Get all the details at montevallo.edu, montevallo.edu.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Let's face it, a home is one of the most powerful assets you can have, and our friends at Mortgage Right want to help you build wealth through home ownership. Mortgage Right is all about providing competitive rates, a variety of loan products, and a multitude of resources for a seamless home buying experience. They treat their borrowers like family and are always looking to bring more happy homeowners under their roof. See more by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR today and start living. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, equal housing lender.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about our friends at Gutter Cap. Gutter Cap's that patented aluminum cover system that fits over most existing gutters to keep out debris and eliminate that gutter cleaning. It's backed with a lifetime warranty, almost 20-year service record right here in Birmingham. Stay off that dangerous ladder forever. 45% off the retail price now if you call guttercapbirmingham.com. Call my good friend Chris Stewart now, 205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. It's Gutter Cap.
Support the show and grab some great t-shirts and hoodies right now in the Next Round store. Buy the Alabama State map shirts in your team's favorite colors, the popular Y'all Can Have the Rest, or Next Round flag shirts are also online now. Just go to nextround.store. That's nextround.store. The traditional Next Round logo shirts are there too. Buy them for yourself, or they make a great gift for someone else. And let us know what you'd like to see in the store coming up. Nextround.store. That's nextround.store.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
All right, before we get to trash, Michelson Laser Vision bringing you this part of the show. If you missed it earlier, Stephen Pearl on the show talking about Auburn basketball. Big one down in Auburn tomorrow night. Number 11, South Carolina. Number 13, Auburn. Little T and I will be down for the game. Michelson Laser Vision getting you ready for the next chapter of your life.
Yeah, I wore contacts for over a decade. I had the 2200 vision. I was legally blind without the aid of contacts. After the procedure, which only took 12 minutes for both eyes, 2015 vision better than 2020. Make the phone call that I made, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the Next Round sent you. They're going to hook you up with the pre-inflation pricing. For more information on that, 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
By the way, I rolled through one NBA mock draft, both rounds.
NFL? Oh, NBA. I got you. Okay.
No Auburn, Alabama players, very few SEC players, a lot of foreign players in the mock draft. Dalton Connect was either 6th or 8th. I'm trying to remember where he was.
What an incredible story.
Yeah.
Big ascension there.
Yeah. He's gone way up.
That was the second team all. Was he the Mountain West last year?
I don't even think he was the Mountain West. He was Northern Colorado, I think.
Okay, so wherever they play, he was a second team all conference.
Yeah.
In that conference, second team all conference, and now is a top 10 NBA pick, they think?
Yeah, that is absolutely crazy. Yeah, a lottery guy.
Yeah. That's a heck of an ascension. Like
if you watch him play, you think the same thing as well. By the way, big game coming up this weekend, Marquette and UConn 4-1. That's 2 o'clock on Saturday. Tonight, some good games, including North Carolina at Syracuse, always a top 25 game in the Big 12. Number 25, Oklahoma. Number 12, Baylor. That's 8 o'clock on ESPN2. And we'll watch and see if Kentucky can win at Rupp Arena. Ole Miss and Kentucky, 8 o'clock on ESPN as well. Let's do trash. Hit the big button, rock star.
Working for Marvel, the Super Bowl commercial. Did you get a lot of reaction to that Super Bowl commercial?
What Super Bowl commercial?
Oh, you know what? I've been my mistake.
Right. I'm not Lawrence Fishburne.
That's my fault. I know that. That was my fault.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
Are you a veteran looking for a VA loan? Mortgage Drive has been advocating for veterans since their company began. As a veteran-owned, operated company committed to your well-being, they can help you find the best terms available, guide you through every step of the process. Visit their location, Highway 280 in Birmingham. You can apply. MortgageDrive.com/TNR. Call 205-815-9200. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. So these guys know the answer, Rockstar, but there is a celebrity coming to Birmingham for a one-night-only show, and there's a possibility that he will be in studio with us. You want to take a guess?
Is it a comedian?
It is.
Come on. I saw Pete Davidson, but he's in Huntsville.
But what's close to Huntsville, Rockstar?
Let me think. Opelika.
I think there's been such a demand for Pete Davidson in Huntsville.
He's got 2 shows that night.
Yeah, he is actually going to one night only at the Stardome this Thursday, 7 o'clock, stardome.com, 444-0008. Leighton Taylor is beyond excited.
Already texted me, can you get him on the show? And I was like, I will reach out, but I can't even get Theo Vaughn people to respond to me. So she's like, please get him on the show.
Who texted you?
Leighton.
He even texted me last night. Mr. Jim, do you like Pete Davidson? And I was like, I think he's funny in his stand-up. I didn't know what she was asking. Is he in a movie now?
Staten Island King.
Does he sing? I said, I see some of his stuff on SNL back in the day, and I know he does stand-up. He pops on my TikTok every now and then, and his seems to be funny.
Well, I mean, look, the guy of the popularity. I mean, it's crazy, and it's more so for the younger kids. I mean, that guy's only 30 years old, but you look at his Derek Jeter-like resume. It's pretty impressive, but he's also got a better than advertised story. You know, his father was a firefighter, first responder, 9/11. He passed away. I mean, he's got a really good story. So hopefully we'll be able to get him in studio. But 444-0008, stardome.com. If you got a teenage girl in your house like we do.
Yeah, my daughter loves him.
Yeah, so you can check him out one night only. Comedy Club Stardome Thursday night.
Thursday night. And
I will say,
and I would imagine if you're a single guy, there'll be a lot of women there.
So just get a lawn chair and post up out front.
I remember
sell water and lemonade out in the parking lot while they're standing in line.
I remember when Colin Jost came here, and I went to that show to start him. We had him on the show.
Was he in studio or on the phone?
He was on the phone.
He was on the phone. He's a really nice guy.
To Birmingham when he was on, but he did a show, and it was a packed house, and I would say it was 85% women.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
and he's married to Scarlett Johansson, isn't he?
That was when it was just announced that they were dating. It was official.
Y'all don't stand a chance.
No, I would be surprised. I mean, outside of guys going with girlfriend or wife, it's going to be all women, wouldn't you think?
I know.
Yeah.
If I was
dressed
in my
to the nines too, I got to get noticed.
If I was single in my early 20s again, I know I'd be Thursday night.
That's right.
So we got a Coral.
You don't mind finishing second in that game, do you?
Yes.
Coral Springs man charged with assault with a deadly weapon after he allegedly threatened to kill a landscaping worker and, quote, eat his body.
Okay.
On February 5th, police department responded to reports of a man threatening victims with a weapon. According to the report, upon arrival, officers were told by the victim on the scene that the conflict originated between himself and the man later identified as Samuel DiOrio, 63 years old, after a previous encounter back on February 3rd when the victim, a local landscaping company owner operating Complete Lawn Care, narrowly avoided hitting DiOrio, who was walking his dog at the time. Now, the victim told officers the near miss resulted after he was forced to veer off the road to avoid a collision with another vehicle. Following the incident, a verbal altercation set the stage for Monday's confrontation. Now, as the landscaper and his crew worked at a nearby residence, DiOrio approached, photographing the company's truck, leading to an exchange of heated words. Situation quickly escalated where DiOrio allegedly brandished a machete and began yelling towards the landscaper, stating, quote, "I'll cut you to pieces and I'll cut you up today." Speaking of this, have you guys seen Lover, Stalker, Killer that just dropped on Netflix?
I heard you bring it up.
It's one of my favorite games to play, though. Love, Stalker, Kill.
Man, I watched that last night, and I'll just say there's some crazy. No, it's a 90-minute documentary. Okay. There are some crazy people out there. This one lady might be the craziest.
Who's it about? Do we know the
random couple in Omaha? They break up. This guy goes online. Plenty of Fish, I think, is the dating site. Meets a girl. Tells her it's very casual. Then meets another one when he's working at like a Jiffy Lube. He's managing that. And some random chick just comes in. She's got a problem with her car.
Smash your brakes.
So he kind of starts dating both at the same time. And it's not great, but the crazy level is next level. It really is.
And just everybody be honest.
Okay.
When he mentions these documentaries, have you ever heard of them before?
No.
No, Lance is on the front end of most of this.
You are on these documentaries before I've ever heard of them.
You are one of those that gets baited by Netflix, like the most popular show right now.
I do. You told me yesterday I'm part of the masses.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah,
you are the guy that will go see the Expendables 5. And you're watching Ghost on CBS.
He wiped your mouth right after he said it.
I know.
No, but I think it was like the top viewed show on Netflix. I mean, those things jump up and they kind of capture you, and you look at it and you're like, okay.
I'm curious if I could have an algorithm to give Netflix, like, hey, for this much, can you bump my show saying it's number 2 right now? I mean, how do you prove that?
Okay, so what is the? I saw this yesterday. The Nick Cage, Bridget Fonda, where he has he wins a lottery. You know what I'm talking
I know
about?
what you're talking about. He gives her the ticket. She's his waitress at the diner.
You'll
it can only happen to you.
It can only happen to you. So that is like the number 7 movie in America because they just put it on Netflix, and it came out in 1994, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So that's how they get these bumps. They baited me.
That does sound like something I'd watch, though.
So Vince Vaughn, I thought it was a new release before I checked the year, but it was called Brawl in like Cell Block 99.
Right. I've seen that. Yeah.
And I went. Rotten Tomatoes had it like a 90-something%. I read the reviews and it said Vince Vaughn, his depth of this character, and I know they were effing with me because when I watched it, like one of the first shootout scenes, he runs and he does a flip and like lands in the harbor. And I was like, I had to cut it off because I thought it was a comedy. I went back and looked. It's not a comedy.
Right.
So I don't know how people actually thought this was a good movie. It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. By far his worst performance I've ever seen.
Where's this Omaha love triangle story?
It's on Netflix.
Netflix?
Lover, stalker,
Will you do
killer.
us a favor? Is there recommended for you?
There's a recommended for you.
Yeah.
Can you just take a snapshot of that screen tonight and we show it on the air tomorrow? I'd love to see.
Well, you gotta scroll.
I'll do mine.
You gotta scroll.
Here's the problem with that. It's not going to be 100% me because it's Maddie's Netflix account. And so, she likes like Godzilla movies and some of these rom-coms too. So it kind of skews it. If it was just mine, the percentage of match, it would be dark.
Okay. That's what I wanted to see. I wish.
Yeah.
How about if the company buys Lance his own Netflix account?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, let's not waste any money.
There you go.
And then, I mean, what's that?
What's that?
Or you could just
$9
add
a
an
month?
account to the account and make it a Lance account. You could do that.
Yeah, he'd have his own
Oh, that's
sign-in
right. Just your own
account.
sign-in. Yeah.
Okay.
You do that. And
I'll do that, and like in 3 months we can.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah, you'll
Okay.
need to let the algorithm kick in.
And then we'll all do ours too. And I mean,
Mine's going to be about trains and cars.
Again, you're going to need to do a kid's and a yours. Yes.
Yeah, make Cord's own thing there.
So it was later discovered during the interview with Diorio himself that he told the victims he would, quote, kill them and eat their bodies. Fearing for his safety, the victim, armed only with a water hose, called 911. Despite Diorio's claim of self-defense, alleging the landscaper had threatened to kill him during the initial dispute, video evidence and witness statements painted a different picture. He was arrested.
I listen, I don't know anything about cannibalism.
Really?
Okay.
But, I mean, if you're going to eat a landscaper, does it taste earthy? A little salty because they're always working outside?
I just wonder if you get chips and salsa first.
Is Luntford back there?
What?
Have you watched Society of the Snow?
No, is that? I always think of it's the Alive story.
It's the Alive story,
Okay.
yeah. So it's the Chilean plane that went down in the Andes Mountains, I think it was.
Alive was enough for me with that lady that got stuck in the chair, and they wanted to would she just die already all night? She just
Yeah, they had her again. Different. This was, you'll love this, much more in depth, and especially on the cannibalism side, because
More
I didn't
hands-on.
realize. Like, okay, so I think the entirety of the plane was Catholics, and Catholicism was so upset by this, they basically banned everybody from the church. And then they were able to come back and say, you know what, you had to eat somebody to survive.
That's true. Yeah, we'll let you back in.
Yeah, but that was.
But we're keeping an eye on you during communion.
That's right.
Yes, don't you
But
stick up on the priest.
communion.
It
Y'all
was.
eat him every Sunday.
The way it was shot, it was such a powerful film, but that was like the moral dilemma. Like, not only eating one of your friends, but also from a religious standpoint. Like, they believed they couldn't do it, but, in that spot, what are you going to do? I think I'd rather just go down on the side of the
I'd
mountain.
rather die than eat a human to live. Yeah.
I've never understood this either. Like, you remember in grade school, I never even did this in grade school. Like, people would stick gum under the desk, and you would look under the desk, and there was just gum everywhere. So volunteers at Red Rocks scraped up to 50 pounds of gum from under seats at the amphitheater last year.
Pounds.
Yeah.
It doesn't go away like the apple pill or anything like that, correct?
That is correct.
Like if I'm in a restaurant, the first thing I'll do is if I forget to take gum out, is I'll get like a
tissue.
No,
Napkin?
like a sweet and low pack or something, and I'll put it in there and I'll wrap it up.
Yeah.
And it seems like people would do that, but there's a nonprofit group, Friends of Red Rock. They wrote in a Facebook post, quote, "Benches look so amazing and clean now. Red Rock's amphitheater, naturally formed outdoor venue 15 miles west of Denver. Now, the group works to, quote, preserve the magic of Red Rocks, and for the past 3 years has been removing gum from under the benches at the park." I think you should immediately be thrown out if you put gum under one of these
I would
things.
agree if you're caught doing it, thrown out.
Okay, but here's the alternative.
I thought you were going to say shot in the head.
No, here's the
So
alternative.
We've at least proceeded.
A little much
Okay.
there.
Some people don't put it underneath. They throw it just on the ground. Have you ever stepped in gum before?
Yeah, I hate that even more. I'd rather it be under the seat than on the
and if
ground.
I did it at Disney.
Yeah.
one time.
Oh, terrible.
Hated it.
Yeah, that sucks, and especially if it's been heated up, you
Yeah.
can't get it off.
And
your
you
shoes.
scrape and scrape and scrape. It'll never come off.
Like I make sure if I do spit it out before I go in the restaurant, I spit it deep in the bushes.
That's right. Yeah, throw it way deep so nobody's going to step on it.
Yeah. Except the landscaper.
You know.
He's going to get eaten anyway.
He just doesn't want to get dismembered at eating, Jeff.
Yeah, that's part of that job, I think.
He's armed only with a hose.
Different story. Yeah. Residents outraged at the possible opening of a location of the provocative California coffee chain Bottoms Up.
I'm going to give you the promotional picture, and you guys, you're going to get a little excited.
Okay.
This is
a coffee company called Bottoms Up?
And they wear bikinis.
Okay. Yo.
Calm down, guys.
Oh, no.
Wow.
Velma got crazy, didn't
That's
she?
what I was about to say. The one on the left and one on the right. I wonder where Scooby Doo is right now. I know where it is.
I mean, the color coordination really is with the scarf. I mean, that's
Scooby's in the middle.
Wow. Hey, what in the hell does she have in her hand? What kind of drink is
I don't know, Lance. I'm not going to stop there.
Matches her top.
So this is where the staff
flat.
serves while dressed in bikinis, as you can see right here. Now, the chain, which began in 2011 in Modesto, has long courted controversy with its so-called bikini baristas. Now, at a city council meeting where the Bottoms Up website has promoted opening a new location soon, in Hanford, locals expressed their concern over who the chain would attract.
Where's the new location?
That is in Hanford.
Oh, it said handful.
I love it.
I know.
I
got a joke. I did
chips and salsa.
Now, this chick, Lynn Barlow, one of the chief among those complaining, owner of a preschool, Sunshine Friends, quote, Bottoms Up does not just sell coffee. Sexual influence, along with the need for companionship, will attract a certain number of customers that are troubled and dangerous to children.
Sure, what would you like to order? I'm in the need of companionship. Oh, okay.
Dangerous to children.
Darlene!
You want that medium or large?
So apparently the Monkey Buffet Festival is going on right now over in Thailand. And they have run off a lot of the population because sugary drinks and snacks have made the monkeys, quote, more hypersexual and prone to aggressive behavior.
Hypersexual.
Initially, I thought that was a very large Coca-Cola can. It turns out it's a normal-sized Coke.
The monkey behind's he's shotgunning a juice box.
Yes, isn't he? Go, 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 go.
Yeah, I mean, it is.
Nobody ever touches the water.
Isn't it? Do you guys find it weird, though, how human-like monkeys act at times? Mm-hmm. Like, it is freaky.
It really is. They're almost us.
Yeah, once a tourist hotspot, these monkeys in the thousands now, they've decided to produce the annual Monkey Buffet Festival.
Oh, my gosh.
This started in 1989. Holiday makers could watch monkey madness as the animals gorge themselves on fruit. But it's got a little over the top.
Well, this guy's in trouble right here.
Is that the 16 at Waste Management?
He's the pheromone man.
Fellas, it was not a hot dog. My bad.
I mean, literally, if you rolled a grenade out, how many of those monkeys could you take out?
Jeez.
I mean, if they just were good at math, they could escape.
Why would they want to escape? They've got Coke
like Voltron.
And fruit snacks?
Why do they have to be good at math? What are they going to do?
They got anybody outnumbered. There's no fences. They could just take down purple shirt guy and then they're free run.
Well, they're already getting fed all day, every day.
That's true.
Don't you think if they put their mind to it, they could kill that guy right now?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Guys, if we just put our minds to it. Stop throwing your shit. Listen, if we could just
put down the juice boxes.
Well, they're waiting for somebody to make the command. You can see they're just kind of standing there.
Tony's over there running
Once
his mouth
on his
again.
hip, though.
Yeah.
Finally,
George,
Apple.
get off the rocks. You come get your own Coke.
Apple Vision Pro users say they're being gawked at by curious onlookers whenever they wear their $3,500 gadget in
Damn
public.
right. You're damn right. You look like an idiot.
I'm not a curious onlooker. I'm just making fun of you.
Yeah.
Early adopters of the augmented reality device have shared bizarre videos of themselves typing on invisible keyboards and even sporting the kit while behind the wheel. Now, the Apple Vision Pro is a, quote, spatial computer that blends digital content. Spatial digital content and apps into your physical space. They let you navigate your eyes, hands, and voice according to its manufacturer. In simple terms, it lets you enjoy virtual reality features while still letting you see the world around you.
Is this guy turning up his virtual radio?
I cannot hear.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't you be nervous? Like, it's one thing to, like, text and walk on your phone.
I'm taking off a bra. This is how you take off a bra.
The tech was released in the U.S. on February 2nd. Apple sold out of its pre-orders January 19th, selling $200,000 devices. Already been making waves, but not all the attention has been positive. Users report being criticized for covering their faces and stared at by passerbys.
We need one of those up here.
It's cheap. It's $3,500. It's worth it.
Boy, if Dunaway was in charge of the budget, man, he would just...
Got Netflix and Apple.
We would have been broke a long time ago.
We said early on, I would not.
Who's a better spender, you
part
or
of the
Maggie?
ownership group, but I'm not in charge of money.
Who's better at spending, you or Maggie?
At spending or saving?
Like
managing spending.
I know that answer.
Now, who's a little looser when it comes to spending?
Who's the frugal one?
Maggie manages the finances.
Is she frugal?
Not as much as she probably should be, but
you're not. I mean,
no, I am not.
Yeah, you're just the Wild West. I mean, you're
Yeah.
spending like a drunken sailor.
I got a car today. I got a boat.
Yeah, like her big warning for me some days are like, do not buy anybody lunch today. That's your goal today.
Maggie!
That's your goal today. Do not buy anybody lunch today.
Well, I know where I'm not going today.
Have you been buying a lot of lunches?
I did for a period in my life, and that bothered her that I didn't save that money that I bought lunches.
Who were we telling that story to the other day?
Ush.
Yeah. A buddy of ours. We were telling a story about when we used to work at Jock's, and there was a hamburger heaven at the bottom of the hill. And we knew if we would either buy lunch for the interns or Sabre, somebody would go get us those club sandwiches. So, I mean, we were literally like spending most of the time you didn't do it because you were not eating.
No, but
that was Lunsford's job with with Ian and Lance. Like it was every day.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Me and Ian bought Rocky and Lunsford's lunch and whoever else for almost a year straight.
Most of the time, me and Dunaway were splitting Sabre, Rockstar, and 2 interns, and I was spending like $45 a day for a club sandwich.
Yeah, but you didn't do it every day. I did
didn't.
it every day because I had to go to TV right afterwards, and I had no time for lunch.
Yeah.
I think
So
Duke's
I
more
did it-
expensive than Hamburger Heaven.
I did it every day. It's felt like for almost, I want to say 18 months.
Yeah, it was expensive.
I burned through that TV money quick.
Hey, did the new year add to your financial uncertainty? Let our friends, the experts at Mortgage Right, help get your financial house in order. A team of experts can make sure you're prepared for anything 2024 may bring, including freeing up cash for things you need to get done. Take control today. Visit Mortgage Right at their location, Highway 280 in Birmingham. You can apply at mortgageright.com/TNR. Call 205-815-9200, NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Tyler, I tried a couple of times. You wouldn't let me buy, and now I can't because Maggie won't let me buy. So you missed the boat, Tyler. We're back in a moment. You'll hear from Lamar Paris, head coach of South Carolina, before they come to town in the final segment.
Follow Sean Lunsford on Twitter @JLuntz.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Spring weather is here, and our friends at Hemphill Services are offering a $69 HVAC tune-up plus 10% off any service call when you mention the next round. Call Adam, Chad, and the guys at Hemphill Services. Make sure your HVAC unit is ready to keep up with the changing weather. Hemphill Services, locally owned and operated independent train dealer. The team can service all makes and models. For all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs, call Hemphill Services. It's hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com. That's 205-229-2090, hemphillservices.com.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live will share the latest interviews and videos from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and campuses all over the college landscape. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Live Daily Show. Jim, Lance, and Ryan will share their thoughts, and remember, you can always see the old shows on the Next Round Live YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, and don't forget to comment. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. It's Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
Hey, if you're looking for Birmingham's best pizza, you need to stop in and see our friends at Slice Pizza and Brew. It's as local as you can get, from the ingredients that go into every pizza to the beer on tap. For a great lunch or dinner, go see our friends today, Vestavia or Lakeview at Slice.
For more than 40 years, Red Wing Shoes has been helping the hardworking people of Alabama. This is why Red Wing Shoes has created the 3-step comfort solution. Step 1, a certified fit specialist will use a 3D scan to electronically measure your feet and arches. Step 2, the fit specialist helps you get the appropriate footwear for your occupation. Step 3, customize your boot or shoe with a Red Wing orthotic. Whether you have a high arch or flat feet, Red Wing has comfort solutions for you. So experience comfort at its best. Visit one of the Red Wing shoe stores located in Pelham or Trussville.
The wait is over. Tonali has arrived. Beautifully distinctive Italian styling and performance. Come test drive the all-new 2024 Alfa Romeo Tonali plug-in hybrid at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. The all-new Tonali offers best-in-class horsepower and torque, fastest 0 to 60 times in its class, plus best-in-class range with full electric charge. And best of all, qualified Tonali leasees are eligible for up to $7,500 EV tax credit factored into your lease. Hurry down to Alfa Romeo of Birmingham and experience the all-new Tonali.
Make sure to start your day at nextroundlive.com. Get caught up on the latest podcasts and videos from the live daily show, plus specialty shows such as the Mystery Fifth Hour. You can also learn more about the whole staff at Double Down Media, find all of our social media feeds, see the latest videos from our YouTube channel and gaming channel, plus find other ways to consume the show like the Next Round mobile app, which you can download direct from the site via your iOS and Android device. Make nextroundlive.com your homepage and stay up to date with everything from us here at the Next Round.
All right, rolling on. Champy's Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster, bringing you this hour of the show every day. Go by and see Sterling and the crew enjoy the wonderful southern fried chicken that you get down there. Brined overnight, cooked to order. It is so good. Hand-cut chicken fingers. Po' boys, don't talk enough about them. Wonderful sides and so much more. Champy'sChicken.com. Lamont Paris is... man, if you know they're tied for first with Alabama, but they're 21-3 on the year.
Yeah.
What a great record for South Carolina. On the road, number 11 team in the country at Auburn tomorrow. All of us think they're going to lose the game. Lamont Paris gets asked to hear about his players and maybe a possible SEC championship conversation.
7 games left. You guys need to talk about first place, about the regular season title, since it's right there to be had.
Yeah, we haven't yet, but to be honest with you, in my mind, that last game was kind of, I think, the domino we needed to fall before we could start having the audacity to look at what the standings are and where we are in the standings, right? And so I think we are to that point. Certainly the guys have, and so we'll talk about it a little bit. But I think there's still some room for growth in our product. And so at some point that won't be the case. We'll be doing it all. We'll be playing the best that we can possibly play. And then you just try to do that for as long as you can.
Basketball practice facility there?
Yeah,
it's weird.
It's got nailing every three from the corner. I think he went like.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Well, it's got seats in. I didn't notice that. Rockstar, play it again. Now, what am I watching?
Is there a chance the seats, Brown, are part of a painting on the wall to give you depth of perception when you're shooting in practice?
I think it was
You're
a real
watching
seat.
this guy.
Yeah, I think
The title, since it's right there to be had.
Yeah, we haven't yet, but to be honest with you, in my
Cat is
mind,
filling it up.
Different guy.
there's 2 of them. They're just going back and forth.
I think the domino we needed to fall before we could start having
5.
the audacity
They can't miss
to
from the
look
corner.
at what the standings are.
6.
And where we are
This
in the
guy's the guy.
standings, right? And so
We got to stay longer in-house now.
I don't know, Jim. I think maybe it's their old on-campus facility.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
They've converted it into a practice arena.
Yeah.
Like, he's done a great job. I think it probably, at least this run, ends tomorrow night. They're probably going to be catching 8.5 in Neville.
Auburn 8.5-point favorite maybe tomorrow.
I mean, look, you go back last week, they were 6.5 against Alabama. I think you got to throw a little bit in, pull it back a little bit because of the rivalry. Now, South Carolina is the 11th ranked team right now nationally, but I still think that number is going to be about 8.5.
Old Carolina Coliseum, says Ben, old basketball stadium there that they play. It looked pretty cool little stadium. All right, Brownies, 30 years ago.
30 years ago today, something happened.
Calgary Olympics.
That is still video that is played to this day. Lance says he thinks he knows what it is.
Well, no, I got thrown off because I forget. I think the year was it 99 or 2000 when Dale Earnhardt Jr. passed away in February? I know. So the math was off.
1994 is the year we were talking about. The
Cowboys.
Nope. Always got to go to O.J. Simpson.
Yeah, that was in June.
That was in June.
The Cowboys won the Super Bowl, but it was back in January then.
Yep. 30 years ago today, legendary Temple basketball coach John Chaney came absolutely unhinged and threatened to kill
John Calipari
in front of the assembled media. Literally threatened to kill him twice. I will kill you. I will kill you.
Well, I remember he got a pretty good suspension. What would happen in today's society?
He's got to get fired. He threatened to kill a guy twice.
But he didn't mean it.
Well, I know he didn't mean it, but you can't be a college basketball coach telling another coach, I'll kill you.
If I've got a coach, I'm not firing him for that. Are you?
Well, he didn't get fired.
No, I'm saying today, I think people would fire. I mean, it depends on how good they are.
Well, I just remember Calipari being in the room too.
That's who he was yelling at.
Yeah, so he came into the room afterwards.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
To say something to Chaney.
Calipari was up on the podium, and he came in and he said, I'll kill you. He walked off.
He's
so
pissed at
Calipari's on the podium.
Calipari. He was pissed at Calipari for getting on the officials, and one of Calipari's players got in the face of one of Chaney's players.
Right.
And he told him, next time I'll tell my player to bloody his nose or something along those lines.
If it's Bruce Pearl, I'm not firing him. If it's, let's say, Jerry Stackhouse, he's gone.
He had to be restrained. He was going to absolutely pummel John Calipari. He was that pissed.
Yeah. No, I'm with you, LT. It depends on how good of a job he's doing. At that point in time, I wouldn't have fired either one of them because they were both doing a good job at their school.
Yeah. Calipari, by the way, was at UMass at the time, if you've forgotten. That was a conference game.
They were a power. Temple was a power. I remember when Temple was a 1 seed with Mark Macon way back in the day.
Chaney could flat coach.
He could.
And Cal was on the ascension. It's amazing that Scott is showing you video. I don't even know if we can play the audio, but Scott is showing you video from WCCB TV in Springfield.
Full circle. Pete Davidson at the Comedy Club Stardome on Thursday night. He's got the same eyes as John Chaney.
Yeah, John Chaney had those deep-set eyes.
Dark eyes.
Dark eyes. So, yeah, I mean, Chaney has to be restrained or he's coming after Calipari.
Calipari was going after him, though, too. Younger Calipari.
He would have gotten slaughtered. Chaney was so pissed.
No, but Chaney, I mean, he looked very fragile and brittle back then.
Yeah. And Calipari was much younger than Don Chaney was at that point. How excited was the photographer in US 40?
Oh, man, he shot it great, too. Look at him. He's in frame the whole time.
Event staff got involved.
He had to call him up. He had to call the station.
Boys, do I have some video for you.
Man. Hey, guys, we've got it right here.
Yeah, we need to feed some video quickly.
Hey, I've got this. Hey, we're back with you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central Time. Bama and Bourbon later this week. We'll have one out with Aaron Suttles later this week. Set your alerts. Remember, like, subscribe, thumbs up. At Next Round Live everywhere on any social media platform. If you watch us and you're not subscribed or liking us or following us on some platform, do it. Help us out. Let's get up to the highest number we possibly can in subscriptions and followers and all that. Go take time to do that over the course of this week at Next Round Live. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.